us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Make this your best football season yet with help from Limitless Mail. If you're struggling with low energy, muscle loss, brain fog, belly fat, mood swings, it's likely low testosterone, and Limitless Mail can fix that. We've helped over 100,000 men feel stronger, leaner, sharper, and more like themselves again. Don't sit on the sidelines this season. Take control. Book your free consult today at limitlessmail.com. That's limitlessmail.com.
Nebraska football opens their season on Thursday, August 28th in Kansas City, and you can be a part of the best pregame tailgate party with Blur Events, live from Kauffman Stadium, home of the Royals. Doors open 4 hours before kickoff with a live DJ promoting interactive competitions and giveaways, tailgate games like cornhole, flip cup, and beer pong, access to ballpark concessions, and available air conditioning. Book your tickets today at blurevents.com/Kansas City and hang with 93.7 The Ticket on the scene prior to Nebraska versus Cincinnati on August 28th.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone and Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln with more exciting news for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal-Star's Lincoln Choice Awards: Best New Car Dealer, Best Auto Repair, and Best Place to Get Your Oil Changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for Best Pre-Owned Dealer and Best Tire Dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say it's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com. Advanced Medical Imaging is hosting their 3rd annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk on October 11th at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Hear inspiring stories from survivors, enjoy local food truck vendors, a live DJ, and other family-friendly activities as we unite to bring awareness about breast cancer. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. with the walk starting at 9. Register your team today for Advanced Medical Imaging's 3rd annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk online at amimaging.com. Let's walk for those we've lost, for those still fighting, and for a future without breast cancer.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to it, folks. It's game week. This is Old School, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. I'm Austin Oerman. Tell you more about the Mercado. Jay Foreman.
What up? What up?
How we doing?
It's all good in the hood.
Especially because I know you hit the Mercado this weekend.
I did. It was on and popping, man. Got me some pork chops.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
You a fruit and pork guy? No, that's a common occurrence. Pork and applesauce.
I put my own. I make my own rub, my own barbecue sauce. Did that up a little bit. Yeah, it was all good. Yeah.
Jay,
what's up, man?
3 days. 3 days and 3 hours.
Yeah, man.
That's kickoff.
No, it's 3 days and 5 hours. It starts at 8.
Oh, it is only 3. I saw the 5. So he does in 5 hours. My math ain't mathing. 3 days and 5 hours. My bad. Feels like should be 3 hours. I'm just so antsy, so ready to get there.
I think, I mean, it's, look, man, I said it on Inside the Huddle Sunday mornings, 8 to 9 a.m. We need more people to start listening, and we got to start podcasting. But football is one of the sports, is the only sport. You have to love football.
You can't not love football.
If you can't fake football, you can't just like football. You can't sometimes football. I'm not saying that you can do that in any other sport, but you get so many chances. Now the best teams generally take every game, as it should be. It's you got to show up with the intention to win and prepare and all that stuff. Whereas football, you practice and prepare 95% of the year. Or let's just say it's 3 months really, generally, right? So 75% of the time you practice, prepare, and sacrifice everything to play 75% or 25% of the time. And that's why it's the best sport out there. You have to give yourself to the team to get individual accolades. It can't go the other way around. There's not, and so now obviously there's a lot of excitement going into this season, whether it's year 3 or year 10. The schedule sets up pretty favorably as long as they handle, as long as Nebraska is able to handle their business. But it's not going to be easy, and it's got to be one game at a time. It's the same thing. I would have said the same thing while we were playing in 1995. It's a book with 12 single chapters, and you're trying to get to, extra chapters, and then you want to have the ultimate, I guess, climax and ending, and that's being a national champion. So you can't get to the ending until you start writing favorable chapters and getting good reviews.
You can 3 days and, as Jay said, 5 hours away from kickoff for Nebraska and Cincinnati. Lots to get to as we continue to talk about the Huskers and their preparation for the Bearcats. First, Jay, let's talk about Husker volleyball, though. Dominating Pitt, dominating Stanford in a sweep of the Cardinal. Few people know as well or better than you what it's like to come into a season with those expectations. Face a big-time opponent to lead off the year and leave no doubt who the clear best team in the country was. I mean, Nebraska won 6 out of 7 sets they played this weekend. Looked every bit the part of number one. Talk about how impressive that is for a team that's been together for quite a while, but with a new head coach coming in to start the season off by setting the tone like that.
Yeah, well, I think it's impressive, in all facets, in the sense of, the expectations are just the emotions, coming off of last year, how they lost, needed, 1 point, and then obviously, the rest is history. John Cook retires, then there's the angst of will Nebraska, be over, and you get a new coach in there, and Danny, and you just are able to reset the standard. I think what you saw this weekend wasn't meeting expectations, was verifying and validating the standard. The expectations is we got 5 cars out here on O Street, and we're live at 1040 O Street. So if you want to stop into the mill, get you some, I don't drink coffee, you get some tea, finish out your day. But in all 5 of those cars that are listening, they all have different views on what the volleyball team in this case, might be. Those are expectations. All of them are very high. The standard is how those young ladies went to practice, went back to work after the hoopla of hiring, Coach Danny, and then getting back to work and understanding the main thing is the main thing. They really just showed, was it probably 16,000 people, give or take?
Yeah.
They showed everybody in PBA how they go about their business and practice every day. That's all you do when you play these games. That's all you do. Now, it's a great start, and I think it really sets up really well for this team and Coach Danny, is that, when you come off and you have 2 really good opponents right from the get, you don't have to worry about not having their attention in practice and in off-season training. They know exactly who they're playing. And if you didn't take it serious, you couldn't get, face embarrassment. But then also, it's an easy way to remind them how they ended the season and where we're going this season. and these first two opponents are in the way, and you got to mow them down, and that's exactly what they did.
I'm glad that's where you went with it, because that was going to be the next line of questioning that I had was you beat Washington, then you got to turn around and pay attention to Pacific or UCF. It would be really easy, I think, for a lot of teams across the country to let their attention slip. Oh, we handled Pitt. Oh, we handled Stanford. We'll be able to lock back in when the time comes. But Jay, I'm sure you've seen it. Saying you'll lock back in when the time comes is probably a whole lot harder to actually pull off than just staying locked in. More dangerous that way too.
Yeah, and that's the hardest thing to do is come off that high, refocus, maybe get some constructive criticism, and have the same intent and intensity as you prepare. In this case, in our case, was Pacific. You know who you are and who they are, but there's a bigger purpose when you play those games, right? You don't want to show any chink in your armor. You want to show you just like a faceless opponent. Stanford or like Washington, Pacific. That's it. You getting the same treatment. This is not conditional. Every like I said, I'm the can. Anybody can get it. That's the way it's got to be. And so, I think when that mentality is there, then it really becomes fun, because it's not a matter of if, it's just when. Now you got to build up to this, right? And you got to answer some of the, you got to answer the bell when it needs to be rung the loudest. But this is a part of the season. This is part of coming to Nebraska, to play in atmospheres and weekends like that. And then it's part of a while, you're able to go recruit. And I guess transfer portal at the clip that Nebraska volleyball has been able to do for the last 5, 6, probably even longer.
I mean, probably 15 years.
Yeah,
probably.
But I'm just talking about the new portal, and so really, cementing themselves. And now they gotta get back to work whenever they do get back to practice.
Then the task becomes, like you said, keeping your foot on the gas, and when they face adversity, make sure you stand up underneath it. Yeah. Right, don't let it crush you, because again, you go back to '97 Missouri, right? I mean, that was adversity. Nebraska's going to lose another set this year.
Yeah,
I feel pretty confident in saying that. Maybe they don't lose a game, maybe they do, but for as easy as they made this weekend look, it wasn't, right? I mean, the games against Pitt were close. Nebraska really only dominated, one set in terms of the final score. Stanford, maybe a little bit of a different story. But this is something you didn't really have to deal with in football, Jay, and really the entire sport of college football didn't have to deal with that other sports have, is just because you beat teams of this caliber the first weekend, that's great. You did it. You made a statement. But then you know what? Come December, if you have one of these teams in your side of the bracket in the NCAA tournament, guess what? They're going to be heated about how things went down the first time. You guys only saw teams once. Volleyball has a chance to see conference opponents a couple times. They'll get Penn State twice. Then who knows what the NCAA tournament holds, not resting on their laurels. Oh, yeah, this is easy for us. We're just going to sleepwalk for the next 35 games or whatever. Making sure to stay locked in, keep that same competitiveness, because as good as this program is at being the hunted, they have to find some way to be the hunter as well.
Well, the biggest that you got to hunt the moment, and you got to prepare for it. You got to really chase a ghost that you will never catch. That's how you stay on top. And the teams can get better. And the Pitt, game was pretty competitive. So there's things to take away from that and to try to be more dominant if you play them again, or a team like Pitt again, or just that's how you go back to practice and say, okay, we have to get to the point where we are dominant against any opponent, anytime, any place, anywhere. You know what I mean? And you do that because, one, they have obviously the depth to work. I'm sure practices are as competitive as the majority of the games they're going to play throughout the season. But you also have to make sure that what the understanding is right now was good. Okay. It's almost like that, Nick Saban talked about, if you want to feel good for, a moment, have some ice cream. If you want to feel good for a couple of days, have a steak and all that other stuff. So now you got to really get past the ice cream moment and, restart and reset, because you want to be able to play different ways against different opponents in different times of the year. And that's what you're doing. You're trying,
but keeping your same principles.
You're keeping it. The foundation ain't going to change. But you
The
got
cosmetics might.
But you want to be portable. You want to have players ready to go. Somebody might be off, or they're where they're going through, I guess, a slump. Well, somebody else has to step in. Then the original starter will come back and obviously play up to their capabilities. You build a team that way, and you're going to need everybody. I don't know how many they have. As far as a roster, let's just say 18 young ladies. They're going to need all of them to win this thing. But you can't think about the end until you deal with right now. They're still forming their team. It's a great start. We're not going to minimize it. But my thing is, we could play even better. We can dominate. You need to push to dominate. I mean, when you think about I'm trying to spike that ball through your head. Not just this time.
Harper Murray did attempt that a couple times this weekend.
But I'm gonna try to get it the next time. Because I want to punch this thing dead in your face.
You're gonna feel me.
Yeah. I don't want, because here's what, say you play Pitt again. Pitt, they go back and make some adjustments. They look at the game and all that. Well, they still have the doubt though. Stanford still has the doubt. So you got to bring that doubt out in them, and then when you get the chance to pounce on them, you got to pounce on them.
It's the lack of pouncing that did Nebraska volleyball in last year. Huskers certainly pounced in the opening weekend of the AVCA First Serve Showcase down here. Jay also pouncing Avery Johnson's dad on his brother. Man, that was a good game up there in Dublin. But holy cow, we got fathers and sons fighting? What do we think?
That happens
led
all
to
the
that,
time,
man.
It's family on family. It's emotions. You get over there. Guinness is strong. They serve alcohol. I don't know what happened. That's family business, and it's unfortunate because he's the quarterback, and he actually played a lot better than I kind of thought he would, and he was a rather coming out party for him. And obviously in a loss, he would have took the win or the stats and a win, more than anything. And then I'm sure they're going to protect him from having to make a statement about that. But again, it's still, it's your family. I mean, look, it's your dad and your brother getting into a little family scrap. And that's the thing that everybody came away from the game about. But it's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. But I think it'll go away. He's just got to continue to play well. But it's unfortunate for him. And then it's a longer flight home, knowing you probably made aware of what happened outside the stadium. And that's a long flight home back to Manhattan, Kansas, knowing that you lost. And then obviously you got some family drama that you got to potentially deal with or be a part of.
Technically an upset, as it's number 22 Iowa State taking down number 17 Kansas State. Not the beautiful game necessarily between these two. 32 combined first downs, a combined 8 of 27 on third downs. Kansas State only 1 of 4 on fourth down, while Iowa State goes 3 for 3. Wildcats roll up 70 more yards of total offense. They hold the Cyclones to just 313 yards, but Iowa State capitalizes on a couple of short fields to win at 24-21. An early shaper in the Big 12 race there, Jay. I picked Kansas State to win this one. I thought Iowa State lost a little bit too much. Shout out the Cyclones. Credit to them. They grinded through it. They found a way to win this one. Now it's one game. They're in the driver's seat, if you will, for the Big 12 very early on. But I think Iowa State, regardless of what your main takeaways are, they still look the part of a contender, right? Last year wasn't a fluke for Matt Campbell. This looks like another, 8+ win team. And then the flip side of that for Kansas State, you let an opportunity slip through your fingers. But I think I'm with you. You feel pretty good about Avery Johnson having taken a step up from last year.
Yeah, some of the things that I felt like he didn't, I felt like last year was a little bit too much hype, and obviously compared to Will Howard, obviously what he was able to do. But, the improvement in the offseason is there. Now, obviously it's one game, but he looks like the quarterback that everybody thought he was going to be a couple years ago. And you're right. I thought, look, Iowa State lost 4 early draft picks. That's a lot to lose. Any team.
Especially for Iowa State.
But they had guys in the wings, and Matt Campbell said, look, it's a staff that's been together for a while, so you're able to, weather some storms. And the yards, really doesn't matter, because the only thing that matters is they were able to win and pull it off by 3 points. And both teams know each other. They respect each other. Never expect a blowout. A little bit sloppy, obviously, his first game, and then it's definitely a neutral site. And rainy, and so that just brings in a whole list of factors that normally doesn't allow teams to play up to their best. But look, when you look at Kansas State, it felt like they improved their pass rush, right? They were able to get 4 sacks. They were able to kind of, minimize the damage that, Rocco Beck could do through the air, which you expected. And that's where Iowa State could be dangerous in the sense of if, and I'm big in role definition and role clarity. Who becomes that number 1 and number 2 option for him will let this team go back to potentially the Big 12 championship. Now, on the flip side, it's the little things for Kansas State. You're thinking, okay, all right, we didn't really get off Dylan Edwards like we should, right? We got to find a way to, because he's a problem.
They get banged up,
but use him a little bit better to where he doesn't get banged up. And obviously the fumble cost, but you like the efficiency in offense from Avery Johnson.
Yeah,
that's not what you had before, and you like his ability to kind of create some space with running as well. You had 2 receivers, set or the 3 over 60 yards. So you feel like you're offensively, you're good. Defensively, you felt like you did okay enough that you really got to a quarterback 4 times. Obviously, Rocco Beck isn't fleet of foot as Johnson. Now you got to get the continuity of all 3 phases, right? Clock management, situational football, and this isn't a time to panic. When you go over there and you got 2 teams that are both ranked the same, 17 and 22, you're the same 2 teams, just a couple riders that like one more than the other. One team's going to be happy with the outcome, one team's not. This is not a time to panic because the game was highly competitive, even though sloppy. Versus like last year, Florida State came in heavily favored, heavily talented, better, way more better than Georgia Tech, and they got obliterated.
It wasn't an upset. It didn't feel like it.
No, that game was. It's kind of like one of those like prize fights. You have the person you assume that would win. It was kind of like Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas. Well, he's around in like round 6. It's going 12.
Watch out.
And obviously Georgia Tech was able to pull it off. But yeah, it's interesting to see how these 2 teams go for the rest of the season because there's a lot to be had. I think the Big 12 is up for grabs, and they were probably thinking, both teams were thinking, if we can grab this, it's actually 2 games. And so now one team is like, all right, now we got some ground to make up. Can't panic because you got to really get into what you did well, what you didn't do well, and then obviously take it with a grain of salt because you knew it was a neutral site game with some outside factors.
Really good day for the Kansas Jayhawks. Obviously, they beat Fresno State 31-7. They watched their bitter in-state rival have their quarterback's dad get into a fight and lose to Iowa State. But 31-7, Jayhawks end up taking down Fresno State. Jalen Daniels is a trooper, Jay. He's a warrior. Been around the game of college football for a while. He really balled out. 2 touchdowns to Pickett on 77 yards for him. Pretty darn good day for the Kansas Jayhawks. They tie Iowa State at 1-0, but just not in a conference game.
Yeah, look, anytime Kansas State loses, it's a win for Kansas. And I think Kansas was pretty impressive. I felt like they didn't play up to maybe the standard that they normally had played to. In years past, and there was a little bit of, just an odd year, right? Daniels hurt, and then they kind of lost their way. Then they beat Colorado, and then they dookie down their leg again, and so I think they really went back to the drawing board, and they looked pretty impressive against Fresno State. It was a dominating performance. The game was over at halftime, but the ability for Kansas to look pretty impressive, I think I was very impressed by them. I thought the game, just based on how they ended last year and how Fresno, I would assume, would be on the uptick, that it would be a closer game. Kansas came out and manhandled them pretty dang good. So they should be, pretty happy with themselves. And then also Kansas State losing.
Other high major game was an upset on the islands. Hawaii takes down Stanford 23-20. I feel kind of bad for my guys, Frank Reich and Andrew Luck, their first game in charge of the Stanford Cardinal. Might be a long year out there in Palo Alto, Jay. This was a game that, yes, Hawaii was favored. They got the home field goal essentially to be 2.5-point favorites. Stanford had the ball 5-6 minutes to go. Quarterback throws an interception, and Hawaii gets their walk-on kicker from Japan, who taught himself to kick from YouTube videos to kick the game-winning field goal. Cool story for Hawaii. I'm just bummed for my ex-Colts.
Man, I watched that game. It was this was the game of the weekend. This is the most fun game to watch. I thought Stanford was back to when Jim Harbaugh was there. They punched Hawaii in the face, and I thought and this was crazy, is that every team, I guess, player, they're when your Stanford comes out like they did, and even though the game, Stanford was losing, at halftime, they were winning physically in that last touchdown when they just essentially just drove it down, power, gap, counter. I mean, it looked like Toby Gerhart was back there. And there was a breaking point, and you thought Hawaii was broken. And guys start getting, hurt. But that quarterback for Hawaii,
Alejado,
you talking about some guts.
Woo.
I mean, he definitely probably had a high ankle sprain to answer the bell, 27-39, kept him in the game, made a off schedule. He tucked it and ran, got a first down. He inspired, the Hawaii team, the Rainbow Warriors, to win. And then obviously the kicker with the walk-off, win. That's if there's ever a positive out of social media, and this is it, is that he wanted to be a kicker. He saw it on a late night replay of a game. He wanted to be a kicker. They obviously didn't have any kicking schools or teams available to him. He gets on YouTube and teaches himself how to kick. You talk about some, self-reliance and old school mentality of really getting it out of the mud. He's done that. And then big shout out to Hawaii. They took a shot on him, and it's paid off. And the confidence that he had, I don't know if he was so confident that he didn't know whether to be nervous or not. But they kind of iced him. And also the funny thing about it, the commentators were saying Stanford needs to call a timeout. Frank Reich didn't think that he could make it. But when they scanned over to that sideline, there was no doubt.
No.
And it was a good game. I think it was a very competitive game. The one thing that's a little bit worrisome about Stanford is they're fit. I think they're trying to be physical on the offensive line, so I think that will probably lessen the athletic gap when they go on the road to different teams. Defensively, looked a step slow and consistently missing a lot of tackles on easy kind of layups. And so that just comes now they got to go back to the drawing board. I think the one thing that really sometimes works against a team like Stanford that wants to be line up, punch you in the face, is that you're going to play teams that primarily play like Hawaii, spread you out and all that. Well, you can't practice that.
Right.
Because you don't, number one,
it's not what you do.
Not what you do. And then you don't have people that aren't playing that's capable of doing it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And then they don't have a huge roster, and then obviously the depth in there. So they're going to struggle a little bit of that identity of who they want to be, but then who they have to be, because they're in a different conference now than they were when Andrew Luck. But I like Andrew Luck and Frank Reich, especially for this year. We'll see what happens in the future.
Stanford goes to BYU in a week or so. They will take on BYU late night.
Who did their scheduling?
Then Boston College at Virginia, San Jose State. Not going to be easy for Stanford. Certainly not early on.
And usually you would circle San Jose State as the get right.
San Jose's better this year.
I know.
They're pretty solid.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And then you always worry about Boston College, because they're going to match physicality with physicality. They're probably a little bit more tightened up than you.
Year 2 versus interim.
And then you know when you're going to be, you already know what's happening up there. You already know what's up.
You already know.
Yeah.
We're going to go to break. We'll get Brian Munson of Husker Online on the horn to talk some Husker football recruiting. We'll keep talking some college football. Of course, plenty of Husker headlines. Heard from Dana Holgerson and John Butler earlier today. All that ahead during Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Make this your best football season yet with help from Limitless Mail. If you're struggling with low energy, muscle loss, brain fog, belly fat, mood swings, it's likely low testosterone, and Limitless Mail can fix that. We've helped over 100,000 men feel stronger, leaner, sharper, and more like themselves again. Don't sit on the sidelines this season. Take control. Book your free consult today at limitlessmail.com. That's limitlessmail.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduced High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at HYElectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Advanced Medical Imaging is hosting their third annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk on October 11th at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Hear inspiring stories from survivors, enjoy local food truck vendors, a live DJ, and other family-friendly activities as we unite to bring awareness about breast cancer. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. with the walk starting at 9. Register your team today for Advanced Medical Imaging's third annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk online at amimaging.com. Let's walk for those we've lost, for those still fighting, and for a future without breast cancer.
Nebraska football opens their season on Thursday, August 28th in Kansas City, and you can be a part of the best pregame tailgate party with Blur Events, live from Kauffman Stadium, home of the Royals. Doors open 4 hours before kickoff with a live DJ promoting interactive competitions and giveaways, tailgate games like cornhole, flip cup, and beer pong, access to ballpark concessions, and available air conditioning. Book your tickets today at blurevents.com/Kansas City and hang with 93.7 The Ticket on the scene prior to Nebraska versus Cincinnati on August 28th.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School here on The Ticket. We're headed to our Allo Fiber VIP line where we are joined by Brian Munson of Husker Online. Brian, first and foremost, happy Nebraska football game week, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. It is. It's I got to watch Nebraska from the high school stands because the kiddo plays at the same time as the Huskers do, and then I head on down to San Marcos, Texas on Saturday to watch Eastern Michigan play Texas State. So football is here, and we're excited.
What does the high school schedule look like for your son? What's on the docket for him?
Well, he failed to make the cut for varsity to start out with, so he is a starting left tackle for the JV A team. But also does like the long snapping and the short snapping for the special teams. But no, it's a little bit different than the varsity schedule. They got a couple different opponents, and I'm not sure why that is, because usually it's just like, well, okay, if it's home, here against this opponent, then you're home the night before for JV, and it's just kind of the same schedule, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a couple that are flipped, and there's a couple that are different. But they got a good team. They got a really good team for JV. I think it's going to be a fun season to watch him play. And I don't know how many times they're going to punt, but I guess he's going to be ready to long snap whenever they have an opportunity. So I think that they're not planning on doing that very often. So it'll be fun, but it's still hot. It's very hot. Not looking forward to sitting out there on Thursday night.
Well, I'm about to say something I need to just let you know, but I'm sorry in advance. It is a perfect 74 degrees with like a light, 5 mile an hour breeze up here. It was hot for a while, but it rained over the weekend. The temperatures have stayed down. Brian, I'm sorry. It is perfect weather, so please jet up to Lincoln if you want to enjoy that.
What's this word rain that you talk about? I can't remember the last time we saw rain down here. I've been watering the yard so much. But no, that sounds amazing. I think 74 is literally what I got the thermostat set at, and it's not even getting down to 74 at night down here. It's staying like 80 degrees, so it's pretty warm right now.
Well, making it rain, you said you were looking at a box score recently, and a future Husker target was making it rain some yards and some points. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I put together every week. We're going to start this week, and I'm a couple guys short. Otherwise, I'd be able to run the article right now. We do a weekly kind of recruit stat check. When they started calling it the box score last year, and got through getting through Raiola, got through a couple other guys, and then I got to Jamal Rule. And Jamal Rule had a night for his season opener. I want to say that he was close to 190 yards rushing, averaged close to 7 yards a carry, and scored 3 touchdowns. He had another 5 receptions, averaging 17 yards per carry. I mean, he had over 250 yards of total offense and scored 3 touchdowns. Really a big night for him offensively. He's feeling obviously very good about their chances to kind of make a deep run and get into the state championship again this year. So very interesting kind of things going on, because there's a lot of guys that are trying to, like Impuma and his team are going for like 3 in a row, and like I think Leon Noyle's team, they won state last year too, and they're trying to go back to back. A lot of former state champions, that are part of these great programs, and obviously Dayton Raiola, they're the number one team in Texas, or number one team in Georgia, excuse me. I believe that on the Rivals on 3 rankings, I think that they just came in at like number 6 or number 7 in the nation. Yeah. And he had a solid night on Friday night. It was like 150 yards passing, another 20 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns and a pick. So they're gearing up. I think it's not this coming, so it might be 2 or 3 weeks down the road, but they got a monster matchup in Buford against a really good 5A team down there. So lots of stuff happening with the commitments. Several players still have not played their first game. I don't think Leon Noyle plays his first game until like September 12th or something like that. So they're off for a while, and a couple of guys will have 4 or 5 games like under their belt by the time he's taken the field for the first time. So no, it's been fun kind of going through and reconciling all that data, trying to put it all together. And like I said, I'm a few guys short. Once I get that information, I'll be posting that article soon on Husker Online.
Check it out, the box score Husker Online. On that topic there, Brian, when you talk about the winning that a lot of the guys in Nebraska's 2026 class have done in their careers, how much do coaches look at that stuff, right? I mean, we know they're looking at individuals, their talents, their skills, but how much do coaches look at the program that these players are coming from and try to identify, the best players that are not just the best players, but the best players on the best teams that come from the best programs?
Sure. It's important. Actually, I quizzed a college coach about that. And I'm going to leave the coach, just leave it generic. And I asked him, I said, like, when you go to a high school, like when you're recruiting a dude, and you're trying to, like, what are the things like that you're thinking about? Like when you're going into the high school, you're checking things out. I think number one was like toughness. It was just like, look, this guy's not going to sit out because, he's got a bruise, but he's not necessarily playing with a collapsed lung either. But I mean, he plays hurt, he's a tough kid. And then I think it really was. It was like, look, he's the captain of the number one team, the state champion team, in the state. There was literally like one of those things like that, like popped up like right away. It was like leadership, successful program. I think it really got back to, and what he was trying to say to me was, we're not looking for guys that are complacent, losing, every week. We're looking for high achievers, and those high achievers typically are coming out of those winning programs because they don't know anything else other than to be successful. And they really are looking for those guys because to be successful, you got to put in a lot of hard work. And I think that's kind of like kind of like the bigger picture when he was talking to me about his comments. You just gotta, I think you have to kind of look for those kind of guys in those kinds of programs to say, I'm not telling you that there's not the other ones that don't exist outside of that, but just that's a great place to kind of go start, turning over stones and looking for players is top achieving programs and the top players on that team. Start with the captains and work on out from there.
We're talking with Brian Munson of Husker Online here on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Brian, you've had a chance to talk to obviously a number of recruits over your careers. On the Husker front these last couple weeks, a couple in the 27 class, Kyler Kuhn and Xavier Balla. What do you know? What do you hear from those two young men?
So interesting. I mean, Kuhn is the kind of guy that I think he's going to be on that interior offensive line board for Nebraska. I think I think maybe that the recruiting might not have stayed up to par with some of the other programs, basically since he was there in June, through the summer, et cetera. But I think Nebraska can re-engage that at any time. They're going to get a visit from him. Very good player, very good interior offensive line guy. But he's going to take a number of other trips, this summer. So you got to be competitive. And this is like with the 2027 guys in particular, the fall is so important now because they're having to, you're going to host those guys in June, which doesn't give you a chance basically then to, put them into a game day environment. So you've got to bring them in for a game in their junior year or before that, even for an unofficial visit. And you really want to have several visits, kind of there to kind of build a relationship, and you're doing your due diligence to kind of vet the player, figure out whether or not they kind of check all the boxes for you and your program, what you're kind of looking for in your locker room and the team room, et cetera. So you got to have a player that's going to be like, hey, came in during the spring of his junior year or sophomore year, came back that fall as a junior. We're going to bring him back for a junior day in January, February, and then we'll probably bring him for a spring practice, or a spring game or whatever in April. And then we'll talk about setting up an official visit with the guy. That's kind of an ideal scenario. So Kyler's kind of following that, but I think Nebraska needs to kind of step that one up again and kind of re-engage with him a little bit. But Balla is a really interesting guy. Came to Nebraska in June. During the summer camps, got an offer there. This is like straight off of like getting like combine MVP honors for the Under Armour Next series, and then he's going to take like 7 visits or 8 visits in the fall, and they're to monstrous schools, like Alabama, and he's going to go all around the country, but he'll be in Lincoln. I think it was against Iowa. He'll be there the 29th of November. So that's a really interesting dude. I mean, not really like a hotbed for recruiting, but I mean, showed up in Lincoln this summer and picked up an offer and definitely put him on the map. He's got to be like in the top handful of running backs that Nebraska's really, could be part of Nebraska's 2027 class. Let's just put it that way.
Who are some of those other names that Nebraska's targeting in 2027 for running back?
Well, I mean, you got to start down the road, right? You got to go down to Omaha Central and look at Kylon Haney. Haney to me is kind of an interesting dude because you put his film on, you put like what his workout, routine is and how strong he is. I think he's the kind of guy that, you have to take a real strong look at when it comes to like being a Big Ten kind of running back. I mean, he's kind of got that bowling ball kind of build, and like I said, he's incredibly strong. Like I want to say he was repping 225 on bench press, and that's pretty incredible. I think he's about like a 5'10", 200-pound guy. But Noah, like if you were picking like the top of the board, like if you're saying, Brian, who are like top of the board guys like for Nebraska, I think Noah Roberts, probably from Basha High School in Chandler, Arizona, is probably the top of the board for Nebraska. I think Isaiah Rogers is in there somewhere. I think Jeremiah Stonewall is in there too. He's a Chicago guy, so maybe there's a Trey Taylor, kind of connection there a little bit that you would want to work. And then I think, you start getting into Balla and you start getting into into Kylon Haney. And, I think what's interesting about Kyle, I'll go back to Kylon one last time. And I think that this is a part that people kind of gonna have to say, that's a great point. When Wisconsin offers a running back, it usually is one of those things, like, just to me, it kind of carries with it a little bit of weight. They're so successful when it comes to their running back recruiting that, they are right now, they seem to be like all chips pushed in the middle trying to get Haney's attention. So it's really, really interesting when you think about it that way, because just there have been some huge running backs that have come through Madison, and they're trying to recruit one out of state of Nebraska this year. So I don't know, maybe this is a 2 running back year for the Huskers. Who knows? I mean, you just kind of have to see how that kind of room kind of works out too. But I think that there's, 4 or 5 guys that Nebraska's really in on, but I think it starts with Noah Roberts and Kylon Haney and Bala are on that list as well.
One last one for you, Brian. We'll move up a year here to the 2026 class. Couple guys already committed to Nebraska. Your last couple 5 good minutes have been spent with wide receiver commits in Nayland Scott and then Larry Miles. What do you like about what you heard from your conversations with those 2 young men?
Oh, I think with Miles, thinking back to that conversation a little bit, he's a confident dude. And I think that, when you start talking about a guy that's just trying to go out there and doesn't need like big changes to his game and just kind of goes through he's going through all the things, like when it comes to training a wide receiver, they have to go out and perfect their craft. And I don't think that he even considered that to be part of the deal anymore. He wanted to try to find out a way to kind of raise his football intelligence. So he went to work and tried to figure out how to get his football intelligence a little bit higher, how to kind of incorporate that into his game a little bit this summer. So I felt like that said a lot for me about his maturity and what he's kind of looking at and how he wants to take a step forward. But with Scott, what's interesting with him is that he's a bigger dude. He's a big dude. I think that people kind of automatically just say this is the kind of guy that's going to be like a red zone target. He's a 50-50 jump ball guy. He's a guy that's going to go up there and go get it. He can fight for it. He's got good body control and everything like that too. But I think where things get missed with him is that his top end speed gets misjudged. He is faster than what you think he would be, and he's a terrific route runner. I think that he could actually play like a slot and just go to work on some sort of a nickel and just make it a super long day for that dude. So yeah, Scott to me is a big physical guy, but you don't want to paint him into a corner and just say, that's going to be your space. You're just going to be my big X guy. I think he's actually an X. I think he can play Z. I think he would be really interesting at slot too. I'd like to see him play there a little bit.
How much does that duo of Scott and Miles maybe remind you of what Nebraska currently has in the slot this year with Ja'Cory Barney Jr. and Janiron Bonner?
That's probably a really good comparison. I think that Scott's a guy that you, in a pinch, you could probably say that, hey, we're going to play some hybrid Y with you a little bit and flex you out a little bit. And Janiron is kind of, Bonner's kind of he's kind of a jack of all trades. He's got a big frame on him. He's really talented, and he can kind of do all the things for you, even run the football if you really needed him to. I think that that's probably a really good comparison, because Barney and Miles, there's some big time similarities there. I mean, they are both very explosive individuals. I think that they will use them basically the same way. And after having watched a couple of games from last season, you really forgot about how vital the end around was, and all the little runs that you could kind of give, to Barney, in the Boston College game. That was a huge kind of a game, kind of a play to kind of keep the defense on their heels a little bit. So it's going to be part of the offense, kind of moving forward under Dana. So I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think they're very similar players.
Brian Munson of Husker Online, our guest on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Brian, as always, appreciate your time. Happy game week. Enjoy it. Stay cool as you can, and we'll talk again next week.
You bet. Take care. We'll talk next week.
Once again, that's Brian Munson of Husker Online joining us here on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Brian is my go-to for everything Husker football recruiting. I highly suggest he become yours as well. We'll go to break, bring Jay Foreman back in, put a bow on hour 1 of Old School. 2 hours yet to go after this.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations. It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Stocking top models from Can-Am, Kawasaki, Honda, Polaris, CF Moto, Suzuki, Yamaha, Indian Motorcycle, Sea-Doo, and Triton trailers. Score big on our massive selection of Can-Am side-by-sides with rebates up to $3,000 on select in-stock models. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location. They can't wait to get you set up for football season.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Hi, I'm Eli Barnes, Assistant Vice President at Midwest Bank at the 70th and Pioneers and 27th Jamie Lane locations. I love working with families and small businesses right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Banking shouldn't be complicated, and that's why we make it personal. Whether it's opening your child's first account or securing a loan for your next big step, I'm here to help. Stop in today and say hello. I'd love to meet you. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps. Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop!
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Boxing is back this Saturday with no nonsense at the Complex. The Midwest's best professional boxers will display their best performances with hometown favorites Clyde Godzilla Johnson and Jack Lawless Frericks among the boxers. Get your tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com, where you can live stream the event as well. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. this Saturday, August 30th at the Complex at 1555 Yolanda Avenue.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It's Old School. Austin Norman, Jay Foreman with you. Big thanks to Brian Munson of Husker Online for stopping by, chatting some fruit with us here on the show. Jay, real briefly here in just a couple minutes before we get to the top of hour 2 of Old School. Haven't had a chance to talk about this yet. Bulls announced they will be retiring Derrick Rose's jersey number. What do you think about that?
I like it.
You're with it?
Local legend. MVP. And as great as he was as a player, he's an even better dude. He represents Chicago through and through. I hate it, obviously for him that he wasn't able to kind of, play to his potential. Obviously a couple of devastating injuries and bad timing of the injuries more than anything. I like it, though. And I think also in this post-Jordan era, I mean, who else would you –
Luol Deng. Joakim Noah?
Yeah. Didn't he fall out with the Bulls?
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Taj Gibson? Kirk Heinrich?
No. But I like Kirk Heinrich, though. I do. I liked him with the Bulls, especially when he wore the glasses. Or the
Zach LaVine?
He had a chance.
He did.
He did.
He had a real chance. I said that jokingly, but he had a chance.
He had a chance and punted.
Yeah.
He had a chance. Jimmy Butler had a bigger chance.
True.
And Jimmy Butler, it's just a matter of time before he's out of Golden State.
Yeah. How long? Like mid-season this year? You think he wears out his welcome?
If they start losing. He's just a guy that, which is weird, and this is where you always just, when somebody gets some success, right? Well, I was say like financially or in this day and age, social media wise, which is all the same because they're getting paid off of it. It just shows you exactly who they really are. Who they really are.
Yeah.
Like you can fake it all you want.
To a point.
To a point. Sooner or later, people will see what's going on. And nobody's perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect or you. I'm not. Nobody's perfect. But the ball of wax, you'll see it. You'll start to hear.
Mm-hmm.
You could do either two things. One, just watch them for a while, or just listen to what they do. Jimmy Butler, you're able to do both. There's not one place he's been that he has not left a sour taste in his team in the locker room's mouth.
Maybe Marquette.
But he wasn't Jimmy. He hadn't made it yet. Remember what I said. When people make it, they will show you actually who they are or who they really are, and how they deal with success. No, again,
Chicago, Philly, Minnesota, Miami. Yeah.
Wherever. Where has he ever left a good feeling as far as with that organization?
So far, he's overperformed.
And look, and sometimes the organization could be at fault too. But where have you been?
At some point, there's a common denominator.
Yeah. It's Jimmy.
So far.
Yeah. So, but he had a chance though. He had the great story. He had the great opportunity. That fell apart. Zach LaVine was but Derrick Rose was the only one that was able to. And Derrick Rose probably had a bigger gripe than both of them. Brought him back a little bit too early. Really didn't have his back when he got injured. Really didn't go to bat for him. Didn't do the thing. All right, we're just going to hold you out for a full year. I think that, but nevertheless, he has a ton of respect throughout the league, both as a player, as a person. So congrats to him.
Congrats to Derrick Rose. I'm sure we'll talk about it as the day draws near with his jersey retirement in Chicago. When we get back, more college football, some financials to go over, some depth charts, some comments from the coordinators, all that ahead during Hour 2 of Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Hey, Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to it, Hour 2 of Old School. Austin Oerman, Jay Foreman with you. Glad you're along for the ride. 402-464-5685 if you want to be a part of the show. 6785. Eric, Money G and Kansas Cubsker, John and Cortland. Appreciate all of you chiming in so far throughout the show. Jay, did you see Money G in Kansas, what he posted from his grill?
Yeah, he handling business like a champion.
I assume burnt ends are supposed to be burnt ends. Are those jalapeno poppers? Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Good stuff, Money
Yeah.
G.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a nice little weekend right there. I wonder what the occasion was.
Why'd you need an occasion to grow?
That's a lot of people that's just you're feeding right there. So it's definitely, it has to be an occasion. It might have been for, he's in Kansas. Maybe he's watching the Kansas State game.
Ooh, Money G, where are you watching the Kansas State-Iowa State game? Let us know, 402-464-5685. While we wait for a response on that, I got a chance, and so did the rest of the media, a chance to hear from Nebraska's coordinators today. Matt Rule will speak for the final time before Nebraska heads down to Kansas City tomorrow. Jay, we'll start with defense. We know that's where you like to be. John Butler, who is going to be wearing the headset for John Butler to communicate with? He said it's going to be a linebacker. Here's the full answer from Nebraska's defensive coordinator.
Right now, we're going to have the linebacker. It'll rotate based on who's in there. We'll be in there to help us communicate the defenses. And it's a fine line, right? You have to like the 15-second mark, and you don't want to be that guy that's saying, hey, alert to this, alert to that, alert to this. But you give them the call, and then you give them an alert of like, hey, this is what I'm thinking here. Be alert to this by this down and distance. But then you've got to be careful, because then he's got a job to do too. And different players in different areas are more comfortable with that. So I'm going to kind of have to feel that out. My relationship with the player that I'm talking to, how much they can handle, how much they can then communicate to the people that they're working with. I always felt like to me, it's a great tool if used properly, meaning that give them the call, give them a couple bullet points, let them play. But I've also been around people that are talking to them the whole time, and the ball gets ready to get snapped, or it's at 15 seconds and they haven't really had a chance to process what they're doing. So I think it's going to be an area where I'm going to have to figure out early in the season to see how we can best utilize it to maximize the value to our defense, but not to the point where I'm handicapping them in any way, if you know what I mean.
What would your advice be for the linebackers listening to John Butler, and your advice for John Butler talking to his linebacker wearing the green dot, Jay?
I don't know if I have advice. I think it's just, like you said, he has to learn, what guy can handle what. And then you just have to curtail how you're communicating with him. You know what I'm saying?
Who did you like hearing from in your helmet?
Well, I never got it. I'm dating myself. We never had that. The only person I ever talked to on the phone was Vic Fangio or Reggie yelling at me. Either yelling at me or yelling at me to yell at somebody else. Generally was
Lots of yelling, though.
Gary Walker or Jamie Sharper. One of the two. No, all jokes aside. So yeah, it's I don't know. I think you got to see who can handle it and see who embraces it. I think it's a tremendous opportunity to, take over a leadership role. Obviously, your play has to match that, as well. But, a true middle linebacker takes pride in everything that comes with it. That's taking the call, being able to, intake a lot of information and tips, and being able to relay that clearly, and then go out there and do your job. And it takes some practice, but it takes some practice, right? And then it takes some confidence, and then you have to be really self-aware to be able to communicate back to the coaches what you can handle, what you like and don't like. Some guys just say, give me the call and shut up. Some guys that need the tips, and because then it helps them go and play freer. So, and some guys are kind of in between. But then, really, that you have to understand is that you have to be able to build a relationship with the player or players, whoever is going to be wearing it, that communication and that time together is there. Example, like when we had to signal the calls in, I had a good enough relationship, I felt, with Coach McBride and been in there and really listened to all the calls, regardless if I was in the practice or in the game or whatever. Every detail that they were, either Coach McBride, Coach Samuel, or Coach Barnes, or Coach Darlington was giving, like when we were in all defensive meeting, giving tips to their players. You got to know all that, right? And then when Coach McBride would signal those calls in, I studied it and would just kind of ask them during the week, and see what type of stunts they were running or what the theme was that week, or what we were going to do, because that helps you play a little bit faster, but more importantly, it helps you communicate that much clearer. So if I knew a certain stunt was coming with the defensive call in the front, and and say you had we call it a tag with it. Well, then number one, I could relay it to the team or the defense. Even if I could do it 5 seconds faster, right? It allows everybody else 5 extra seconds to go and play your best. Then it allows me to predict, adjust, or whatever I need to do.
That's 5 more seconds of two-way communication instead of one-way
two-way communications, and it's multiple.
Mhm.
And then also, then I get to go and say, okay, in this formation with this stunt, in this down and distance, I can expect play 1, 2, worst case 3, coverage, or my coverage responsibilities 1 or 2.
Mhm.
You're able to play fast that way. So that's what makes it so. I always felt like at the end of the game, more than as much as physically, but mentally and emotionally, you should be exhausted because you're in it.
Mhm.
You ain't even like, you're so engulfed in the game. Every single point of every single play, you're engulfed in the game. Like if you're in the game, say you were in the game and I wasn't, I still got to know the call. I still got to relay the checks. So when you come out, me and you got to communicate. And then that's what it's a team game because we in it. And that's part of it. You want to be the extension of the coaches when you're the middle linebacker or the play caller. Same thing as a quarterback. Dylan and Dana want to be on such a good communication or rapport that they're almost like finishing each other's sentences.
Mhm.
If it's so you want to go over it, you want to almost like when Dylan's going over the play, or like if I was going over Coach McBride's plays, I want to hear him saying it, but we were getting in the signals.
Eric says, Jay, Vic and Reggie wouldn't have yelled at you if you weren't messing up.
That's not true. That's not true. They would yell at me when I would mess it up. Actually, sometimes when I'm playing good, but then they would yell at me sometimes to be like, "Why did you not get so and so in the right place?" Well, I'm trying to do my job first, and Benji Olsen is trying to come and murder me. I'm sorry, I couldn't get somebody in the same base defense that we've been running for 3 years. But
Vic, it's still 3rd and 7, man.
Yeah, it's still 3rd and 7, man. So yeah.
On the linebackers too, I think Nebraska's got some pretty good options to wear that green dot. Guys listed as starters, the co-starters of course, Marquise Watson-Trent or Vincent Shavers Jr. Shavers, of course, dealing with a little bit of the hamstring deal. That's either if in Shavers' case, guy that was voted a single digit by his teammates, or in Watson-Trent, former Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Year upperclassman. He's seen himself some football. And on the other side, Javen Wright, program dude, seen a lot of football, or really the story, I think, of spring camp, Jacob Bauer, there behind Javen Wright in that backup position at middle linebacker. Whoever ends up wearing the green dot for Nebraska, seems like they should have 4 pretty good, competent options in making sure the play calls get relayed.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Watson has had a lot of history of doing it, and has played a lot of plays. Probably has the most playing experience as far as setting the huddle and going through that whole process, and obviously Javen Wright, as well. And then after that, then you would probably think Shavers. And that's, maybe because then you got a lot, sometimes you want to not put too much on a young linebacker's plate. Probably Bauer. I don't really know him that well, so I can't really say, but maybe. A lot of guys that just haven't played yet, you want them just to play, and you want the guys that can do both do it. So then whoever can step to the forefront. Here's what, for everybody that's listening and doesn't understand what all goes into it and what really goes into, in my opinion. Now, anybody else's opinion, that's fine. I'm just going off of my experience. And this is how I learned. When I was at Nebraska, I had great, mentors when I was coming up, and went from a guy that just needed to be told what to do so I could go play to eventually move into a leadership role. It's not just calling the plays. It's having command of the huddle. You got to have command of 10 other guys. You got to have the respect of 10 other guys. or more, but just the 11 guys that are out there. Command of the huddle is something that both at quarterback, but at middle linebacker, that goes under the radar. I know we have Brian Munson in there. That needs to be, if quarterback is arm strength, command of the huddle is like number 3. Arm strength, ability to like digest information and execute, command, number 3. Linebacker, you get all the little, underwear Olympic stuff, command the huddle. Because if you get in the huddle and you're like, over cover 3, do not clip that. Okay. Do not
Well,
clip
there
it.
go my plans for tonight.
Yeah. Over cover 3. That ain't working. They're like, what? Seriously.
I got to make a note. Do not clip 1:15:15.
No, do not clip that. But because I remember, I'll tell you this story, man. The first time I called the huddle as a rookie, so I'm in there. I'll never forget.
Your voice cracked?
No, I kept my mouth guard in.
Ah,
it was Bruce Smith, Phil Hansen, Ted Washington, me. Ted Washington is the biggest human being.
Not Washington, baby.
Dude, he's big, and he got, he's my protector. And he's like, "What we got? What we got? You will hurry up." I got nervous. I started getting nervous. He's like, "Stop acting like you scared. Take your mouthpiece out and call the defense." Hey, punked me into reality. He's like, "Take your mouthpiece out." He's like, but you need
you got
that.
a job to do.
And then I learned, John Holisek was great, and at the pro level, how to command, because they're looking for you. Look, you're gonna face some adversity at some point. If you think Nebraska is gonna go through this whole season, 12 games, and just mow people down, I mean, that would be great, because then we'd be going to the college football playoffs, which we still will be. But if we think we're just gonna go game 1 to game 12, 56-0 every game, and no adversity, just kind of like, all right, we're just here. That's not gonna happen. So defensively and offensively, they're going to look to the people in front of the huddle for guidance, because your back's going to be, this is where the team comes in. And so command of the huddle and getting everybody's attention, and how do you really command all 10 other guys is a big part of it. And what Coach Butler is talking about is a big part of that.
Let's hear more from John Butler. What does he want to see from his defensive front during the first game against Cincinnati? Here's the defensive coordinator.
Really, all I want the front to show is they got to get off the ball. I mean, I'm talking about freaking get off the ball and create a new line of scrimmage, either whether it's their get off or their movement. So we want them living in the other team's backfield from an effort standpoint. And then obviously from a physicality standpoint, the physicality of your defense is established by your front. Whether it's a front 4 or front 5, are they knocking the offensive line back? Are they creating a new line of scrimmage? Are they being disruptive? Are they allowing your back 7, your linebackers and your safeties in the run fit to overlap and make plays on the ball? If they're doing that, then we're playing defense the way we want to play. If they're not doing that, then we're going to have to make some adjustments with how they're playing, but also maybe how we're calling the game. So the heart and soul of your defense, any good defense, is your D-line. We feel like we got some good young players there that have physicality, they have movement, they have explosive playmaking ability. And that's honestly one of the most exciting things for me heading into the game. Having gone against our offensive line, who I've attested to is very good, works very well together. They're gigantic. Now we're going up against another offensive line, which is another test. I think it's going to be good for us to see where we stack up against them as we move forward this season.
The good defensive line is the heart and soul of any good defense. You agree, Jay?
Yeah, defense and offensive line, but in particular, he's talking about the defensive line. And, look, it's a great opportunity for him to take a step in the right direction. And look, I think, you lost a ton of experience and playmaking ability on the defense as a whole, period. You can't minimize that, but you can't change it, though, either. So if you sit there and say, oh, we lost these guys and we're just going to just lollygag around and just take punches in the face, that's not what you came to Nebraska for. Every guy on the team, especially on defense, came here with the intention to be out there on Saturdays, or in this case, Thursdays. So this is your opportunity to go out there and play. And I like what he said there. And I will tell you, look, every great defense sometimes doesn't start as fast as they like. I was telling people, like, there's, Wyoming came in and in 94 gave a little bit of a problem. Washington State gave us a little bit of a problem when we were in 95. And so that you take some time to adjust. So what in my experience, sometimes if you're not really playing to the clip that you normally like or you think they should in this game or any game, he's like, we got to adjust our calls. So if Austin is playing way too passive, you blitzing. You run blitzing, you blitzing, period. So I'm taking all the guesswork out. So
Get the blood pumping, go get it.
Well, just so you're not coming to the sideline, and sometimes you can almost play, like, try to play too perfect. Like, think of 85 different plays when the play that you need the play is just right there in front of you. So now we're going to wake you up a little bit. And I've been on, matter of fact, Jerry Gray used to do that all the time. But if we were tripping, if Gray would listen, and our defenses were okay, really wasn't that good, or like Wade, right? Okay, Wade Phillips, right? Like sometimes I remember Wade telling us one time, I overthought it. We were, you know what I'm saying?
Got too cute.
He's like, that's why in the second half, we really majored in what's called saw one dog. That's Sam and Will, man to man. Lock up, let's go. Corners earn your money. Linebackers cover. Bruce and company go get the quarterback. It happens. Sometimes you could come in. They could adjust. The Bearcats or Cincinnati could be doing something that you weren't expecting or really having success with what they're doing. You got to adjust. That's probably where his NFL experience comes into, which is football, and sometimes you got to adjust on the fly and have the ability to. I don't know if he's on the field or not. That's probably something that they should add. That's what Nick Sanders should be asking.
I know Dana will be down on the field again.
Yeah, but we need to ask. Nick wasn't Nick there? Nick was there. You were there?
I was there.
See, no, but
I was there. Put it on me, Jay.
Yeah,
I didn't ask.
See, I was going to say.
I'll wear that one. That's on me.
You know why you got to go this time?
Because Nick was on air?
No, because there wasn't no food there.
True.
Nick played you.
Well, I got.
It'd be the ones that's so close to you, though, Austin.
You know what else I got? I got this though.
Yeah, but Nick went over there, got the shrimp and steak, and then showed it there.
And the corn and the hot dog.
Hey, Mr. Upgrade be doing it. No, but I'm just saying if he's upstairs or if he's on the field, the ability to have a feel for the game and be able to adjust on the fly is a huge quality to have. And that's also where you're able to receive information and have confirmation from people around you to be able to say, okay, maybe we should try this.
And John Butler talked about that, right? He pointed back to his days playing basketball. Got to think fast in basketball. That's kind of who he is, right? He said high energy, and he prides himself on his ability to identify something and then find a way to communicate it very quickly. Before we go to break, let's hear one more cut here from John Butler. How will Brendan Sorsby and Cincinnati's offense challenge Nebraska in the first game with their tackling ability? Here's Nebraska defensive coordinator John Butler.
The test is going to be great. You look at these games from this week and the week 0 games. We watched a significant amount of them in our staff room, just some of the things that happened. And other than ball security, the number one thing that stood out was the poor tackling. So we've been emphasizing it. I'm sure you guys are going to ask me about it every week, depending on whether we tackle well or we don't. But tracking the near hip, taking the extra step, getting body on body, having population there, being physical. I think it's going to be a challenge every week. Every team we're playing, specifically this week in Cincinnati, with all of their skill that we think they have, and then the skill that they brought in that we've got to see and kind of test out early. So I think it's a challenge.
When you think about the challenge for Nebraska in tackling, Jay, I'm sure some of it is they just haven't done a lot of it. You can only go live so much. So just getting live reps against even your own team has been few and far between, let alone an opponent who wants to make you miss tackles. But when you think about week 1 tackling, what is it about week 1 that leads to the most missed tackles or missed assignments in that area?
It's just that you hadn't done it, and you're trying to probably amped up, and it's a multitude of things. Doing what you practice, fundamentals, obviously low pad level, being violent with your hands, getting off the ball or getting off blocks. And obviously, before that, getting off the ball and establishing Obviously whether you're setting the edge or, a fill or alley player, getting it more crisp. That's why you see such an improvement from week 1 to week 2 or game 1 to game 2. And just getting used to game speed. I mean, you got to think Cincinnati's going down to Kansas City, thinking about an upset. They figure like their backs are against the wall. They're probably only going to have minimal fans there. They're going into the Lions Den, so you're going to get the best version of them. And they pose some problems. A running quarterback is probably the kryptonite to any great defense. And, and so you have to be able to rally to the ball. They call it population, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to, you got to rally to the ball. You got to have a really good pursuit, but you also have to be like strategic and detailed in your pursuit. You got to know, we used to call it overlap, right? You're running to the near hip and then you're running essentially to the next near hip as they go up the sideline, or that's to eliminate any cutbacks. That's how you're able to get explosive plays against a, fast and over pursuing defense. And so, one thing I'll say before we go to break, tackling is tackling. Let's don't overthink it. Don't make it into a science project. There's no perfect. Listen, you're going to get maybe 4 crisp tackles a year.
Not a game, not a month, a year.
Where you get it to where it's like, angle. We used to call it angle tackle, where everything's lined up in the box and you get to really like unload. A lot of them are hustle. A lot of them are get him down by any means necessary. And then obviously you got to have good fundamentals to do any of those.
So really the only perfect tackle is one that gets the guy down.
By any means necessary. First, within reason. You don't need to be getting dragged and stuff.
No Vontaze Burficts. No hip drops.
No, you don't need to do all that. No DDTs or anything like that.
Nah. We'll be back. We got more Old School on the other side.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
If the power is out, keep your fridge and freezer closed. Perishable food lasts 4 hours in the fridge, and frozen food lasts up to 2 days if it stays below 40 degrees. See more tips at les.com/safety.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse.
Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Old School. Rolling right along. Austin Norman, Jay Foreman with you. The segment brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. They're based out of Hallam, Nebraska, and they offer free estimates, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family-owned with their own team of installers. Give them a call today for more info at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. We heard from John Butler. Time now to hear from Nebraska offensive coordinator Dana Holgorsen. Will Husker fans see all three guys listed with an or at left tackle play against Cincinnati on Thursday? Here's offensive coordinator Dana Holgorsen on the left tackle spot.
Well, it's kind of what or means. I'm not being mean, but it's kind of what that means. I mean, it's just we got another practice today. We got another practice tomorrow to kind of just keep plugging away at it. There's some backup receiver spots that I'd say the same thing. There's some guys that, and I think this may have to be a deal where in game, I'm going to have to look at some of these young guys at receiver. I'm good with the starters. Those guys are older. They're veterans. They're, Isaiah, Dane, Jacory, and then Bonner. I mean, those guys, I know what I'm going to get out of them guys. Okay. It's just all the other guys. And I could say the same thing at running back. You know what you're going to get out of Emmett, but the other guys, although they've been practicing really well, what's that look in their eye going to be like? And that's first game stuff. We'll have a lot more answers Friday on what those guys look like, what the lineup settles in at, and where we go from here.
That's the interesting balance for any team, Jay, but especially here in Nebraska, finding a way to win the game with players that you trust, but also having to walk that fine line of, well, those guys probably can't be out there every single snap. You want to rotate other guys in because you're excited about what you can do, but it's something we've heard a lot. Coaches not sure how their players are going to respond, mostly because they're young, not be, untested, more so than, oh, I know what's going to come, but I have to play this guy just because I feel obligated to. Really curious to see how Nebraska balances that, like Dana Holgorsen said, at left tackle, where you got three guys battling, right tackle with a couple guys battling, and then receiver, right? And running back, like Dana Holgorsen said. It's going to be a balancing act for Nebraska coaches to make sure they have the right guys in the right situations at the right time, but not worrying as much about playing time because, of course, you got to win the game, and everyone should be on board with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they, at least from my experience, is that, like the coaches, I'm trying to think now, is like they always kind of let you know how you always kind of knew either the rotation or how many plays you're going to get or how many carries you could potentially get. Now, obviously, they always leave it out there. Now, if everything goes right, then this is what's going to happen. And so, the guys that are not the known entities have got to be ready, and then when they get in the game, they got to produce. Now, part of it is developing players and getting more guys in, and you'd like to think all the work you did in the offseason, training camp, and all the walkthroughs and meetings and whatever else they do, helps provide a foundation for guys to go in there and be successful, but then obviously prove themselves. And continue to try to inch their way up the ladder as far as the depth chart goes. But the guys that are supposed to be your bell cows, right? And you'd like to, be, all of them. In whether we'll talk about the depth chart, in the third hour, is that you need those guys to step up big. But then also part of being on a team is other guys stepping up as well. This isn't just go through practice. Go all the way down to Kansas City, and when your number's called, you just okay with just watching. I never understood that, just being okay, just getting a steak in a sweatsuit, and obviously an Instagram picture.
It's a really nice picture.
I just don't understand. I don't understand that mentality. Sure, there's different talent levels. There's different talent levels and different experience levels on all teams, and whether that's last year with Ohio State team, Michigan, or this year with Penn State or whatever, and there's different talent levels, and some of that talent level or how they're able to produce is based on their experience. But when you get a chance to get in the game, you got to get busy. Period. Like, this is the difference, man. Look, man, the ice cream and cupcakes time of the year is over.
It's been over.
But I'm telling you right now, it's over, though. Like, this is real. This is real right now. This is not to be played with.
Not playtime.
No, it's not. And there is a different level of intensity. And whether you know it or not, you need to know it. And you need to act like it. This is a game where you need to expect and hope. You should hope, actually. Cincinnati bites back. I want some friction.
You need it. You got to have it. Can't survive without it.
Yeah, you got to want to be there to compete. Now, you obviously want to win. Just give me a little bit, just get a little warm up, You know what I'm saying? We got a heavyweight fight in week 4, man. Let me just get a little, knock the dust off a little bit.
Get a little sweat going.
Why don't you just come there and lay down?
No. Can't be one punching over.
Nah, man. So I think it's just one of those things that, like you said, the receiver, look, just because, again, we'll jump into the depth chart. Just because this is the initial depth chart. Okay, example, he mentioned Emmett. Emmett was third, I think, last year, or second for sure.
Second for sure.
And wasn't barely getting any reps at times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, the game kind of dictated that. But then even when you saw little glimpses of Emmett, he wasn't getting a lot of opportunities. Here comes Dana. You get a bye week, off to the races.
Mm-hmm.
If you that tells you need to work while you wait. If you sit while you wait.
If you pout, if you mope,
you will be sitting. You can come to the garage, though. We'll get you some libations. I got you a couple minutes. No, I'll just play it, man.
Dana Holgorsen, how has play calling been different for him than last season?
Yeah, it's a little different. I don't get tripped up nearly as much, so, it's our offense now. So I know it in and out as well as I need to know it. I got tripped up at times, and had to make some adjustments to what the offense was in order for it to make sense to me, and I think we've done that. And I think it makes a lot of sense to Dylan. And our communication is very, very, very good.
It's our system now. Of course, we know he came in on the fly last year, the modified system, right? Took play calling duties over from Marcus Satterfield. Jay, how important is it for a quarterback to feel ownership in an offense, what he's doing, what he's running, be comfortable with the OC? And then on defense as well, I mean, obviously it's the coach's scheme, the coach's decision at the end of the day. But if you're a player and you're a coach, how do you create that relationship, create that buy-in to make the players feel like they have ownership of what they're being asked to do?
Well, I think it's a big deal for when he said that, this is our offense, and then obviously, in connection with Dylan, because you want, he's the guy that's got to drive the bus. And so you want him to be 100%, confident in what plays are being called, and that he's put in the best position to help the offense to be successful. And then ultimately, the better the offense is, the better chance the team wins. Then obviously you want to have individual success. I mean, obviously if you have an offensive coordinator and want to run the triple option with Dylan, he wouldn't be happy. So it's it's kind of a very unique process, but I also think that it's something that when you have a coach that's willing, this is what I said about Dana. Don't know him personally, spoke to him, very little, but I've watched him. And when you have different, I said this, and I mean it. And this isn't like being a homer. This is just giving him his just due. He's been able to have different types of players be successful in his offense. That lets me know if you play good football, you get in the rock.
Mm.
Period. He's an equal opportunity commissioner.
He's an everybody can. He's a can man.
He's a can man. If you can get open, if you can make plays, you can get it. Straight up. He's done it with small guys and like Taven Austin. He's done it with Tank Dell. He's done it with even Coach Shorts. He was successful. I know he was up for Buffalo a little while. He had, was it Still or Stills, the tall,
David Stills.
Still kind of a little bit taller, not very fleet of foot. He had the wide receiver White that ended up going to Chicago.
Kevin White.
Yeah, big, strong, physical dude. Obviously great. Run after the catch. And once he started to get him going, they started feeding. And then he had different types of running backs as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he calls it and what's different. I think obviously it's not going to be drastically, but I think the rhythm is going to be. I think the connect. Look, they've been instead of being together 10 days, it's been 10 months. So there should be more continuity.
Let's go ahead and hear from quarterback one for Nebraska, Dylan Raiola. What does it mean to him to represent Nebraska as a season-long captain? We'll dive into that after we hear from QB1.
Yeah, it's a tremendous, tremendous honor to be able to represent this football team and represent, honestly, not even the guys here right now, but everyone that came before us. Every single person that's walked through these doors, names up in the stadium, championships that have been won, and to be able to, wear a C on my jersey. It's a lot more than just the patch. It's more of the blood, sweat, and tears that I had with these guys, and just them being able to respond to me trying to lead them and all the guys that deserve captain honors. So it's an honor. Like I said, I'm very humbled to be in the position that I'm in to represent this football team.
6 players named season-long captains for Nebraska. That came out over the weekend. Dylan Raiola did say that he and a couple other players had gone to Matt Rule a couple times and asked if that could be a thing. Jay, what do you make of that decision? You have single-digit numbers. Black shirts are coming probably this week, John Butler said. And now season-long captains for Nebraska. Seems like there's a real focus on finding and developing leaders in all sorts of different ways, named and unnamed.
Yeah, I mean, it takes, it's going to take the whole team. Whether, single digits is whatever the measuring system, captain's another. You have kind of like your captains, in your position group, multiple captains. And so for this team to be successful, it's going to have to be more than the single digit guys, and there is some crossover, or the top, or the captains to be successful. You're going to have guys that are going to be able to step up in bigger ways than just in the stat sheet. So, like right off the rip, you think of a guy like Lindenmeyer. He's the elder statesman. He essentially got super promoted. Fedoni leaves for the league. Borkacher goes to Texas A&M. You live on stage now. Not only from a player perspective, rep wise, but from a leadership perspective. Then you essentially have 3 in Carter Nelson. Harburg is still a freshman as far as playing tight end.
Yeah.
And then it was Ingerson is a freshman as well. There you go, buddy. You got to get open. You better catch it on third and whatever. You better block good. You better be the guy that sets the tempo every day. And then you got to bring these dudes along with you. So that's a captain that, maybe wasn't want to name one of the captains, but
he has to be one.
But he has to be one, whether he likes it or not. So not only he has to be a captain in the meeting room, but he has to be a captain in the locker room, in the weight room, practice field, and then obviously in this case Thursdays, but on Saturdays.
Captains for Nebraska: Sierra Wright, Marquise Buford, and Deshaun Singleton, all single-digit guys as well from the defense. On offense, Dane Key, Dylan Raiola, and Henry Lutovsky. I know Lutovsky, Raiola, and Key all spoke today. So I heard from the three offensive captains for Nebraska. We'll go to break. We'll put a bow on hour 2 of Old School. Lots more to get into with the depth chart and some NFL holdouts that have come to a close. All that and more ahead on Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see partly sunny skies with light winds and cool temps. The afternoon high around 74. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and calm winds, the low around 55. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and an afternoon high near 77. I'm meteorologist Kyle Hutch for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone and Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln with more exciting news for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal-Star's Lincoln Choice Awards: Best New Car Dealer, Best Auto Repair, and Best Place to Get Your Oil Changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for Best Pre-Owned Dealer and Best Tire Dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say it's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today.
Salt Mine City is your go-to brewery in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their Big Fatty 7-ounce hamburger or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're wrapping up hour 2 of Old School. Still plenty to get to. The segment brought to you by Love Volleyball Nebraska. That's right, they've rebranded. You can still get your tickets, same place as always, lovb.com. Find the Love Nebraska portal. Your chance to see all sorts of former Huskers, national champions, Olympic team players, and of course, Olympic champions all take the floor for Love Volleyball Nebraska. I'm Austin Norman. He is Jay Foreman. Jay, some news in the NFL. We'll get the little news out of the way, save the big stuff for potentially hour 3 of Old School. Amari Cooper traded from Cleveland to Buffalo during the middle of last year. Did not re-sign with Buffalo. Instead, he's signing a 1-year deal to return to Vegas. He will take the field and pair up with Geno Smith and Pete Carroll.
I like that. I think Jacoby Myers is looking to find a new home. Nothing like getting an established, under the radar, borderline Hall of Famer in Amari Cooper as far as on the field, and then you're getting a Hall of Fame teammate and a very consistent. And I think the connection between, I think that would provide Geno with some comfort there, where the guy that that's going to be, as long as he stays healthy, he'll be good to go.
Have Pete Carroll offenses used? I mean, every offense can use a guy like Amari Cooper, but when I think about the Seattle offenses that the Pete Carroll had, they didn't really have that Amari Cooper. Right? It was Tyler Lockett in a lot of cases was the guy that at least lasted the longest with Pete Carroll. What's going to make Amari Cooper such a good fit with Carroll, what he wants to do offensively, and then with Geno Smith and his arm?
Well, I think obviously he doesn't have the speed to probably take the top off the defense as he did as a younger player, but also I think that he's a reliable 50-50 ball guy. He runs precise routes, so then there you're able to be on time and on schedule in the passing game. And obviously Pete Carroll is big into play action, obviously led by, with the run. Obviously, you have Marshawn Lynch. They don't have Marshawn Lynch, but they got the young rookie, Genty. So it'd be interesting to see how they match it up with Pete Carroll's new offensive philosophy in this day and age. But I think Amari Cooper gives you two things. One, he's reliable, right?
Mhm.
Number one, he's a leader. Number one, the respect is there from from Gino, the offensive coordinator, the players. But then also he's able to provide leadership to a young and upcoming wide receiver group. It's 1 year, so he's brought in to produce, he's brought in to lead, but then also he's brought in to provide something that wasn't there before. And so that's the consistency, and then obviously the threat. Amari Cooper in the scouting report is different than Jacoby Myers, even though Jacoby Myers had a good year last year. It's a difference in who you have to prepare for.
I was just going to say, first 1,000-yard year for Jacoby Myers. He had at least 700 yards every year since his rookie year in New England, where he only started one game. Since then, 730, 866, 804, 807. Then the 87 catches, 4,027 yards, and 4 touchdowns for Jacoby Myers. I get it. Go get your money, young fella, but that doesn't seem like he'd accomplished enough to me to try to hold out and get the trade the way that he did, right? He's a good player, but man, it hasn't exactly been the most consistent guy on the play. And some of that's certainly, circumstantial and situational. But man, if I'm Jacoby Myers, I play this out. And then if I really believe myself, there's a big free agent payday waiting for me. I think he might've rushed the issue a little bit.
Yeah. But you also know you want to do that right now because you have a new coaching staff in there. And so you want to see if they're committed to you or not, because you don't want to be left in limbo.
No.
And you don't want to be left out there like Jennings was with the 49ers. Now he's hurt and you don't have that security because you want to take advantage. Look, there's been guys that had a really good year and got paid. So your agent's job is to get the maximum amount of dollars when the opportunity is there. And you can't get paid unless you ask for it. I do think there's a market for him because he's a young and upcoming receiver. They might not value him in Las Vegas, but that doesn't mean that he's not valued other places. There's wide receiver issues across the board. Now, will he get paid to the maximum like he wants? Probably not. The problem with the Raiders is this. They've shown right now with Pete Carroll, if they don't like you or don't respect you, or you're not if they don't feel like paying you, you gone. And that's the old school mentality of you really could do that back when I played. It's a new old school mentality with these Raiders of whether it's Wilkins and Myers. And that's what a coach will come in. He'll get rid of all I wouldn't call them problem children, but guys that either buck the system or really want to get paid, and they feel like they're going to pay you when they deem is right versus when you want to get paid.
Especially a guy like Pete Carroll, strong personality.
He has nothing to lose. This is his last go-round. He's not getting another head coaching job. Obviously, he has some bandwidth there to make some personnel decisions. Now, whether it's directly or indirectly, obviously he's putting his stamp on it, or it's looking like he's putting his stamp on it, or okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to build this franchise. Look, he's a winner.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're letting him actually, unlike previous Raider coaches, let him build it the way he wants to.
More NFL news on the other side, as well as a deep dive into the Husker football depth chart. Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman over there. I'm Austin Norman. Another hour of Old School to go right after this.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Make this your best football season yet with help from Limitless Mail. If you're struggling with low energy, muscle loss, brain fog, belly fat, mood swings, it's likely low testosterone, and Limitless Mail can fix that. We've helped over 100,000 men feel stronger, leaner, sharper, and more like themselves again. Don't sit on the sidelines this season. Take control. Book your free consult today at limitlessmail.com. That's limitlessmail.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with pay starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Stocking top models from Can-Am, Kawasaki, Honda, Polaris, CF Moto, Suzuki, Yamaha, Indian Motorcycle, Sea-Doo, and Triton trailers. Score big on our massive selection of Can-Am side-by-sides with rebates up to $3,000 on select in-stock models. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location. They can't wait to get you set up for football season. Boxing is back this Saturday with no nonsense at the Complex. The Midwest's best professional boxers will display their best performances with hometown favorites Clyde Godzilla Johnson and Jack Lawless Frericks among the boxers. Get your tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com, where you can live stream the event as well. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. this Saturday, August 30th at the Complex at 1555 Yolanda Avenue.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs has been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, third hour? Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, Old School, the New School Way, coming at you live, 1040 O Street. Once again, we are brought to you by the Mercado Certified Piedmontese, Special Grades of Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Andermatt / Old Cheney, 168th and Maple up there in the O. A lot going on, obviously, with the game. Essentially 3 days away for us here in Husker land, and then obviously a little bit of NFL news. Receiver or players requesting trades, guys getting paid. Scary Terry McLaurin got paid. Trey Henderson got a little bit of a lot of a pay bump, essentially doubling his pay, going from $16 million to $30 million. And then more importantly, he gets to become a free agent one last time, most likely, if he has another year close to what he had last year, which is, obviously leading the league in sacks, and then did it the year before. So a lot of guys getting some quan. Only guy that's not is Michael Parsons. And we'll do a little bit of NFL stuff, but I really want to look at eventually look at the depth chart and stuff like that. Obviously, Husker Week, but with Michael Parsons, it's a bigger issue. If you see, over the weekend, Jerry Jones was on Michael Irvin's podcast, and for whatever reason, Jerry Jones is trying to negotiate like he's back in like 1930. Like
it's almost 2030, dude.
But it's like. And he said, really, what was one of the bigger reporters said that he said he negotiated like this with Dak Prescott and Zach Martin, but they were in there and probably knew a little bit more than Micah and said, okay, yeah, I want to be back. Never talk numbers. He got Micah discuss numbers and then was like, all right, we got a deal. We'll work out the details later. That don't work like that. You know better than that. This is not back in 1960, and I don't know what the hang up is that you don't want to negotiate with his agent. There's 53 guys on that team. They all got an agent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's thousands of guys in the league. They all got an agent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Brian Schottenheimer has an agent. I'm sure the offensive coordinator has an agent. So you're thinking that you're gonna, with your most high profile and productive player on defense, you're going to say, all right, well, I'm not. We're just going to go. We're going to work this out and say, well, here's where Jerry Jones will run into a little bit. He's done great for the league, no doubt about it.
The league is grateful for Jerry Jones and everything he's done.
He's done way more good than bad. What you up here talking about? Well, I got him for 3 more years. You know what that sounds like, and you got a history. Period.
Do you ever?
And we know who Michael Parsons' agent is. Like, stop all the stuff. Either you want to sign the dude back or not. You're not getting any more press out of this. You already ran this thing into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you don't want to pay him? Just say, I ain't paying you this year. Period. All right. Well, then figure out something else. And then Darrelle Revis, he had a pretty good thought that the NFLPA needs to step in. Because Jerry Jones pretty much told on all the owners, I know I can take advantage of you until I'm done with you. Essentially, he says, I can have you play this year. I know I can franchise you for 2 more years. And by that time, you'll be 2 years old, 3 years older. Value might not be where it is right now. And who knows what else. But yeah, you'd be highly compensated. You can't turn your nose up at that type of money, but you're not giving him what he's worth.
Mm-hmm.
So why all of a sudden you don't want to give him what he's worth? Now, granted, I think eventually it'll happen. But there's some bad blood there, man. This isn't like Dak Prescott where you knew he was going to get paid.
Well, and it's interesting, too, because Micah Parsons is, with no disrespect to Zach Martin, probably the closest to the top of his position group in the NFL. Certainly closer than Dak Prescott is. And again, I think Dak, when he's right, is a top 10 quarterback. Like, Dak can ball. Let's not kid ourselves about that. But Micah Parsons is closer to being the first best defensive player, first best
He's closer
edge
to
rusher
T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett than
Dak Prescott is to any of the 4 quarterbacks
right.
at the top tier of the league.
Right. And you cost yourself money by waiting to pay Dak. You cost yourself money waiting to pay CeeDee Lamb. You cost yourself money to pay Zach Martin. You cost yourself Zach Martin based on how you did business.
Mm-hmm.
He just got tired of it.
Yeah.
And you guys were garbage.
And you were bad.
So I mean, it's I don't know, man. I like the drama, but it's like.
But when is it unnecessary?
It's probably unnecessary right now.
Right. I mean, you look at what Terry McLaurin did with the Commanders a little bit, right? Okay, sure, fine. You tried. You got what you wanted. Congratulations. Trey Hendrickson just got a 1-year deal. You got a $14 million raise. Good for him. Was that so hard? No. Unnecessarily difficult. And then you have the Cowboys saga, which is another level to that. Hendrickson, sure, maybe more production than Micah Parsons. Led the league in sacks a couple times, like you said. I would still probably take Micah Parsons, right or wrong, in terms of overall value and versatility on the football field over Trey Hendrickson. And sure, Jerry Jones is well within his rights, according to the contract that they both agreed to and both signed, right? The rookie deal for Micah Parsons and whatnot, to continue to pay him what the contract says, no more. He's well within his rights to do that. And if he wants to, more power to him. Again, that's an enforceable deal. But how many other franchises make signing their best player this difficult? Very few, right? Sure, you can view it as, oh, well, you gave up, you look how weak you look by just giving in and acquiescing to your players' demands. Sure, maybe, but also it buys you goodwill. When you prove that you're willing to lock up your best players and give them maybe not what they want, what they deserve, right, based on their value on the football field, I don't think that's a sign of weakness. I think that's the cost of doing business. And, sure, maybe it feels like a penalty to have to pay guys early, but also, hey, guess what? You drafted a superstar. Congratulations. Now you get to pay him like one and keep him around because you should like having good players on your team.
Yeah, well, number one, if you paid him last year, you wouldn't be having to pay him what you're going to potentially have to pay him.
Close.
Moving forward. So you did it once, twice, 3 times, and this is where you're trying to pay maximum dollars. Okay, let's look at Michael Parsons last year. Let's look at his stats. 12 sacks. That's kind of, I guess, a down year. So he comes right out of college. All right. Was a kind of do-it-all everything. He was obviously a crazy athlete, right? I think he ran like a 4.3 or something at 240-some pounds. Okay. 13 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. Right out the get-go. All right, let's see if he has a sophomore slump. 13.5 sacks. All right, let's see if you can do 3 years in a row. All right, I'm going to even give you more production. 14 sacks. All right, last year in 13 games. Now in 13 games, okay, 13 games. All the other games all other seasons, he didn't miss a game. To let you know he's durable. 13 sacks. 12, excuse me.
So basically a sack a game.
Basically a sack a game.
Which is closer to 1 sack a game than any other year he's had so far. So he upped his level, arguably.
Exactly. So he has 53 sacks essentially in 4 years. And you're sitting up here trying to like nickel and dime the dude? You're trying to like napkin deal the guy? Now, granted, you might not like that he has a podcast. You might not like, the tactic. You might have to, try to do your old school tactics. It's not going to work. It's not even worth doing it like with him. It doesn't make any sense, and it's not really, good business sense. You don't really look, you're not like recreating a way to negotiate. No. You having a player come to your office? Now, granted, there are players that get to go to. I always say this. Listen, when I had a complaint, I'd probably talk to the equipment guy about football stuff. When Thurman Thomas had a complaint, he went to Mr. Wilson's office or called him on his phone or his cell phone.
His personal.
Yeah, there is different levels to this. Michael Parsons is on that level. You got the best defensive player in recent history drafted that you drafted yourself, and he's holding out, trying to get his. Yeah. I think $21 million or whatever they're paying. That's a lot of money. It is, but T.J. Watt just got $45 million, right?
41.
Okay, he's making double what he's pretty much almost what Michael Parsons is making
for not double the production.
And this guy is right there. And you got to think this production, while he was producing it, especially in the first 4 years of his career, or the first 3 of his 4 years career, DeMarcus Lawrence and company were bringing it as well. So it's not like you were just getting those and you're the only guy out there with a heartbeat and pulse.
Right.
It's just interesting that the way it's going now. He's on there with Stephen A. Smith, and that's that's another avenue or tactic as well. He has Stephen A. Smith has a big following. He can touch a lot of people. He can influence people's thoughts. I don't think it worked.
Here's this too. So Bill Barnwell, ESPN writer, over the last 4 years, the Dallas Cowboys are the league's best defense with Micah Parsons on the field in terms of expected points added per play. Number 1, if Micah Parsons is on the field, Dallas has performed on a per snap basis like the number 1 defense in football for 4 years. Over the 1,040 plays that Micah Parsons is not on the field, they're the second worst defense in the NFL. Think about that. from 1 on a per snap basis to 31 because of one dude.
Mm-hmm.
That says something.
Well, it's no different than Emmitt Smith. He held out until they went 0-2.
Yeah.
He was the best running back in the league. And if you watch the docuseries, Charles Haley almost hit Jerry Jones with a helmet. Now he threw the helmet, didn't throw it at Jerry Jones. And then next thing you know, 2 days later, they signed Emmitt, 0-2. Maybe that's the point that he has to hold out. Maybe he has to be willing to, take a little bit of a haircut. But you hate for a player to have to lose millions of dollars to get the millions that he's earned. Yeah, people say, well, it's a contract. He has to play it out. Okay. Mm-hmm. The people that say that are the same people that aren't going to say to the owners, they need to pay everybody's contract until the very end. So don't come at me and tell me that he has a contract. He outperformed the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Legitimately outperformed.
Yes.
This isn't
for 3 years.
This isn't a guy that's an average player that's at a position that everybody else is overpaying,
mm-hmm.
and then he's a byproduct of everybody else's success. That's how you get the collusion from the owners not to overpay these quarterbacks. It's
mm-hmm.
because a lot of average quarterbacks and below average quarterbacks have been getting paid like starters, and some people think Dallas Cowboys quarterback is one of them. Period. When Dak was the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
How many times did you see guys get new deals and they were making a ton of more money than Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger at that time?
Mm-hmm.
And then, the Patriots and Pittsburgh took care of them. Now team friendly, but, made it respectable. This isn't a scrub.
The opposite of a scrub.
Don't tell me that you got one more year in your contract and then you need to pay it out. And then you need to, just play it out and to be happy with it. Then you don't understand football. You don't understand. There's no other guarantee besides the money that you get when you sign.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're telling you right now, once they're done using you, you're gone. This isn't hockey. This isn't baseball. This isn't basketball. So he needs to get his money. And matter of fact, he's earned it. Whatever you think about him being on a podcast, whatever you think about him, going to Penn State, whatever it is you're hanging up with him, he hasn't gotten any off the field trouble. Knock on wood. Seems like a pretty good dude. Seems like his teammates like him, and I know DeMarcus Lawrence would have liked to see him be more focused. Okay, that's fine. I think a little bit of his lack of focus was not getting paid after those first 3 years. You could have re-upped with him before this. This is a guy that's outperformed his contract. You get drafted in the contract that you get in the league on the hope and the assumption of what they see in your potential.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Some guys outperform it. Some guys underperform it. This guy's outperformed it. Pay that man.
It's just interesting, too, because if you're saying play out the contract, I would say you're living in fantasy land, too. Maybe that's the way business should be. Maybe. Should. Ideally, if everything was running perfectly. But that's not where we're at. If Jerry Jones thinks he is so powerful in terms of his force of will to be the one to take a stand against athletes holding out for more money before the end of their contract, if he thinks he's the one to stem that tide, more power to him, he can try. But even if he's successful, who's to say the other 31 owners are going to follow his lead? They probably would, right? It's Jerry Jones. He's powerful. He's got a lot of money. But I think there'd be a lot of organizations that say, you know what? Sure, we'll have to pay this guy more, but there are benefits down the line from just keeping him happy and keeping that production. And then you have to think about this too. Just because it happens in the NFL, would that affect basketball? Would that affect baseball? Would those owners say, no, Jerry got away with it? Jerry made Micah Parsons play for his fifth year before he got extended and got a new contract. No, it's not going to happen. If you say that's the ideal system, so be it. But Jerry Jones taking a stand is not going to change that. That's just factually not how business has been done. So you can hope and wish and dream that guys play out their contracts and are happy with it all you want. What the rest of the league and the rest of the leagues and players and agents have done is said, sorry, your ideal system isn't reality. We're going to operate this way. These are the facts on the ground. That's just not how it works anymore.
I'm just imagining and getting called to Jerry Jones' office and say, okay, we're going to go 5 years, $200 million. You good with that? Cool. We'll work out the details later. I mean, like how? Is it just flat? Is it fully guaranteed? Is it guaranteed only against injury?
Is it partial? Or there bonuses?
Right? Is there bonuses?
There...
Is there workout bonuses?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? You're trying to tell me?
Are there snap?
Right?
Requirements.
Right? Is
whatever?
there any incentives?
Mm-hmm.
And John and Cortland is a good point. It got personal, but why? What? Okay, if Jerry Jones is trying to make a stand, why with your best player? What? Like, what do you gain? You should make a stand out of somebody that really legitimately the guys in the locker room don't respect and don't think is very good.
Well, it should be the George Pickens. If George Pickens had asked for an extension earlier.
Right. Yeah, upon the trade, which usually happens.
Yeah.
But the guy that's been the most productive player that you've drafted in probably over a decade and has outplayed his contract.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. Culligan J asked, he says, what did you mean by paying those contracts until the end? Is that something that does not happen in the NFL? No, it doesn't. They stop paying they can cut you.
Even if you signed a contract.
Even if you sign a contract. They'll even cut you when you're productive.
Because of money.
Because of your cap space or your cap number, or they figure that they can, find a way to save, and that's their right to do that. It's interesting that and that's where everybody thinks the contracts aren't guaranteed. That's why basketball's different. It'll never change because the basketball players are getting paid whether they're at home or on the court. Some of them are getting paid to go home, and they're honoring all those contracts. Now they might be backed up by insurance, but you got a guy like Trey Hendrickson, right? He's in the last year of his contract, no different than you had Mike McCarthy in the last year of his contract. Lame duck year. He knows he's going to be paid, in this case, $16 million. He wants a longer contract with the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to give him one. Well, then he's like, trade me. You don't want to trade him. So then the happy medium is go pay him $30 million when you could have probably done this in the offseason. And then with Michael Parsons, is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, the teams don't have to honor any contracts, and it's some of it contracts. A lot of them are funny money because if you got a contract and you see a lot of times to really re-sign a player or in a trade, just say if it's 4 years, let's just do $20 million. Well, you get $6 million to sign, you make $1 million, or say you make $2 million, and then your base salary is $500,000 next year, the league minimum, or $750,000, right? So you're right at $8.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, was $11.5 million left. Well, then of that $11.5 million, you're supposed to make $5 million base the next year, 6.5. They're like, okay, well the cap numbers ain't capping. Bye.
See ya.
Yeah.
Sorry, can't afford you anymore.
And this might be even after you do make a Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Made the Pro Bowl with Bengals. Bye. Now they knew that sometimes you have to get rid of good players in order to sign Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. That's just part of it. But this guy here needs to get paid. Terry McLaurin, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He had to hold out all training camp to get his contract, get a contract that they could have done all offseason.
Mm-hmm.
They knew what this $96 million up to 90. That's the max that it can go to.
Yeah.
So news is he's not getting $96 million.
No.
Either they'll renegotiate with him or they'll cut him or trade him.
Well, that's not even top of the line deal.
No.
Not even close
Right.
to wide receivers anymore.
Right. So now you get a 3-year deal. Now, like all these reporters, oh, he's got a 3-year deal at $96 million, $32 million a year. All you need to look at he got a $30 million sign-up bonus. Probably makes league minimums. That's $31 million. And there's probably some option bonus that will kick in the guarantee for next year. That third year, he gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it kind of works out with, Terry McLaurin, but he just incurred or some fines. He's been already fined $104,000 for missing mandatory 3-day minicamp. He missed 4 days in training camp, total of $200,000. So he has to take a haircut of $300,000, essentially, 10% of his, or what is it? Is it 10%?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10%. To get where it's at, when all that could have been eliminated. And he did the right thing by what the new thing is. Like, we'll do a stay in.
Mm-hmm. I'll be here.
Yeah, it's like being in high school. We're going to do a sit in.
I'm not chilling.
Yeah. And you just got your franchise quarterback's number one option. Now, this is your franchise quarterback's number one option. So, sure, he's happy. It was worth it. The team feels good about it because they got their player back, one of the leaders. Well, I think when the new ownership came in, he's one of the guys you asked to represent the team because they had the picture and they had the conversation with Magic Johnson and the new owner.
Mm-hmm.
You turn around not paying him?
Really?
So
Big Bird said 1%, not 10%.
1%. I thought so, right? Yeah. See, listen. You gotta have good,
either way. That's a lot of money.
yeah, you got people in the right places in order to graduate, Big Bird. But that's the NFL, and it's always going to be the NFL will always NFL. That's one thing that I think a lot of players need to understand. Everybody has dreams and aspirations, and this is why college football is probably the most appealing place to be until you're 30 years old, if you can. Is because you get paid a lot of money, and it's not based on production. And it's kind of funny money. You're not held to the same standard. Now you should be, but you're not because you didn't have to collect a bargain. Yes, there's contracts, but you're still, there's a lot of guys out there stealing. But the numbers to make the NFL are still the same. But the one thing that you have to learn about the NFL versus I wouldn't say Texas Tech, but say you're at a school where everything, I'm trying to think Avery Johnson at Kansas State, since we talked about him. Sure. So his NIL deal is pretty dang good, right? And say they got a couple other players. Keeping him through some lean times is something that the program actually really needs. So they're making this decision based on the fear of the future. Mm-hmm. Whereas the NFL,
we'll find someone else.
We'll get eventually.
Yeah.
The owners are going to keep owning,
mm-hmm.
and the coaches are going to keep coaching. And the same thing with the coaches. They're always going to protect the shield and protect their pockets. And Michael Parsons is the last man standing. Or he's standing out.
He really is standing out.
Yeah. So you wish him the best. I'm pretty sure he's frustrated. But, the best thing he can do is just stay in shape mentally and physically. He has a chance to play. He's got to, really, just continue to do what he's doing. It's not like he's got to go out there and recreate the wheel. So, anyways, we're going to take a quick break, come back. We'll talk about the Nebraska depth chart, what it means, any surprises. Obviously, everybody's talking about left tackle, Dana Holgerson, and talked about the receivers. We'll look at some of those groups, but then also look at some of the linebackers because Coach Butler talked about who could potentially be, making the calls. Do they call it a green dot?
Yeah.
Okay, put the green dot. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today. Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
M Suits Clothiers, Lincoln's favorite men's store, is having their end-of-season clearance sale. End-of-season clearance is going on now with up to 75% off. Stop in now for the best selection on polos, sport shirts, suits, sport coats, dress pants, and dress shirts. Suits as low as $299, sport coats starting at $199, dress shirts as low as $69, and polos starting at $49. M Suits Clothiers is located 1 block south of 56th and Pine Lake Road. M Suits Clothiers, your menswear store.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see partly sunny skies with light winds and cool temps. An afternoon high around 74. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and calm winds, a low around 55. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and an afternoon high near 77. I'm meteorologist Kyle for 3.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
When you're outdoors beneath Nebraska skies, adventure comes in all sizes. From quick escapes and long weekends to true off-the-grid retreats. Paddle, hike, camp, explore. Whether you have a few hours or a few days, we'll guide you to a state park or recreation area that's a perfect fit. Start your next adventure today at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. Now it's depth chart time. Austin?
Speaking of depth chart, real quick, John Bullock made the 53 man for the Bucs.
See, he is exactly who I thought he was.
All right, Nebraska.
Good on him, though. Straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Walk on. Kind of a hybrid. Special teams. Gets a chance here with Matt Rule. Reshapes his body. Remember when he first came out as a linebacker? Homeboy was jacked. First of all, his dad is yoked up, too.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad's a tough dude. So I knew he was. And comes back. I think he decided to come back, for his senior year. It's well worth it. I mean, you got to give him a ton of credit, man. I mean, he made himself into a player this year or last year And besides Ty Robinson, in my opinion, now granted, I'm not in meetings and all that. I'm just going on what I see. He made some big plays. I mean, he won the game against essentially Purdue. He made huge plays. He was steady. He was tough, reliable. I knew right away that he was going to test well. I knew right away that he was going to do his thing on special teams. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy you want. Congrats on him, man. I'm happy for him. He's a good dude. He's a good kid. He's a good dude. I shouldn't call him a kid. He probably get mad about that.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, he young. He a little young buck. He got that little. He got the new straight.
Jason Light, Husker connection.
Yeah,
there it goes.
But he made that connect.
Mm-hmm.
Now to the depth chart. What do you want to talk about? What are you more surprised at?
We talked about the 3-way race at left tackle. I think that's interesting. I think I like the wide receiver slot position there. 2 different body types in Ja'Cory Barney Jr. and Janarin Bonner. 2 very different skill sets. You can mix up the looks there. And then the thing that stood out to me first, I think, was linebacker, Jay, with the law firm or Vincent Shavers Jr. listed at one spot, and then Javen Wright listed as a starter without an or at the other linebacker spot. When I went up and down kind of that list at that other linebacker spot, it was 6'5", 6'1", 6'3", compared to 5'11", 6'1". Do you think that's why, Javen Wright is penciled in as a starter right now? Because whether it's law firm or Shavers, you got a taller, rangier, long linebacker to pair with a shorter one. Why do you think the linebacker depth chart shook out that way?
Well, I think, with Jacob Bauer and Dawson Merritt obviously is a true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
So, he doesn't have any experience. Even though I think he's going to be a heck of a player, here in the immediate and obviously in the near future as well. Jacob Bauer, obviously, came all the way, I think, from California, earned a scholarship. Both of them don't have any experience. And then you got the law firm, and then you have Vincent Shavers that showed flashes. And so I think you got 2 of the same player there, and then you got Javen Wright, who's a guy that they know. Now I think Javen's just been able to, stay healthy, and it's out of his control. And I think they have it under control. So the athletic ability and the ability to play multiple positions, I think you see it right there. So when you look at the linebacker position, you got to really, depend on those top 3. Watson Trent, Vincent Shavers, and Javen Wright. Now everybody else got to step up, but those 3 guys got to really, I always say, carry the water up the slippery side of the hill, and without spilling it. And it's a great opportunity. It's a senior year for Javen. It's a senior year for Watson Trent, who comes in with a ton of production, and now they got to go out there and produce. Now, the best thing, the big thing about linebacker is, especially when you have more experience than what I'm about to mention now, Javen obviously been here for a while, but they all have, even though Watson Trent's been other places, they have more experience than Jalen George, Keona Davis for sure. Not as much as Judy, technically more than Van Poppel, or as much as Van Poppel.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go out there and expect perfection. You got to go out there and make it perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So I always talk about the time that I played with Seth Payne so much, I knew exactly what he was going to do. I knew exactly I knew everything about Seth. Seriously, what he did, what he ate, how he trained, how he was going to play things, how he worked out, or how he warmed up, how I knew when he was going to play. I knew when I knew he was going to have a huge game based on who he was playing against. And it was against some really good centers at that time. And we were freaking frack. I took some in the chin for him. He did the same. When he got hurt, Terrence, we used to call him Terrence. I used to call him Terrence Tea Time Martin. Because the funny thing about Terrence Martin was we had a physical practice. He was getting into it with a guy, and Terrence used to be a Golden Gloves boxer.
Oh.
But he was about 6'4", 290 pounds. The funniest thing about it, he got into it with his offensive lineman. He took his helmet off, and then he was bobbing and weaving. You know what I'm saying? And that was his name during Golden Gloves boxing, Terrence Tea Time Martin. Terrence didn't have any experience playing the nose in the 3-4. So I remember talking to Todd Grantham at the time, Funny story about him, by the way. And then obviously Reggie and Vic, and they were asking me about it, and they just came and said, well, you got to make them right. So I had to adjust my game until we adjusted to each other. Now, we eventually got there, but then it worked itself out. Then we brought in a guy named Steve Martin. We used to call him the House. And he played at Missouri. So Steve Martin was the funniest dude. So he was a big dude. And, we come out to the defense, defensive run out there, and he was like, let me get a house. Let me, you know what I mean? So we call him the House.
Nice.
Yeah. But it was funny because I was like, what? The house? Like, let's get a huddle. He's like, let's get a house. So, and he had more experience, been in the league about 8-9 years, and ended up playing well. And so that's where, this team, this defense is going to be successful or not is up the middle and those guys.
When you're on the field, would you rather play with a guy in front of you on the defensive line who's boom or bust? It's a guy that can change a game on any given snap, but you might have to go make him perfect sometimes. Or would you rather have, a bunch of Seth Paynes in front of you, where, not saying he couldn't change a game in his own way, but more reliable, more steady, where he's going to be. He's going to be at the right place at the right time. Is there a mix? Do you like one versus the other?
I played with both. I didn't really mind it. I think as a younger player, I'm playing with Ted Washington, that I needed that. Now I played with Pat Williams in the early parts of his career, and he was boomer bust because he was learning how to be more of a technician. Now I was a little bit older player, so then I could, I've been in the league a couple of years, so I could deal with that. Probably a little bit of both. I think I think right now is just that you got to just figure it out together. I always say this: if you're going to make a mistake, make it 300 miles an hour. I'll figure it out from there. Because if you are, like I said, really intent and understand, and you always plan for every scenario, it doesn't catch you by surprise. And you're saying, well, I look at it like this: if 2 linemen are coming on me, you better make the play. Because chances are I'm on somebody's highlight tape. So you better, because here's the thing: you ain't gonna see me getting Peter rolled down the field because you're making a tackle in the backfield. Now, if you miss the dude in the backfield, guess what they're gonna say? Look how they just smashed this linebacker into the ground. So I think that's really what it comes down to, is guys that need to play. But I think when you look at this whole depth chart, Nebraska might be one of the youngest teams in the Big Ten, and definitely one of the youngest teams in the nation.
I think it was like 90 guys on the roster are sophomores or lesser.
Look at corner, right? Jeremiah Charles, Amari Sanders. Both of them essentially are sophomores. One's a redshirt.
Donovan Jones.
We saw him last year, right? Right. And Caleb Benning, redshirt freshman. This is letting you know the recruiting.
Rex Guthrie behind Deshaun Singleton, freshman.
Right from high school prom. I'm here. You know what I mean?
Hello.
Right? So Rex Guthrie. And then you want to give a shout out to Derek Branch, right? Walked on and do it all. Provide some physicality and a little bit of he has I played with his dad, or actually didn't play with his dad. His dad, I know his dad. His dad was before me. He's a tough cookie. So, look at all these young guys. You got Dawson Merritt, right?
Look at the jack position. You got a senior, listed as the starter, redshirt freshman, sophomore.
Exactly. And a lot of talent there. So you're able to kind of start to see some of these things that come to fruition. And so we'll see where it goes. Now let's flip to this other side. The left tackle position, I think you feel comfortable there. I think Turner is all based on health, right? So if you just look at Elijah Pritchett and Gunnar Catula, you feel good there, right? Now, obviously, you expected Elijah to be number one. But, Gunnar obviously must have, he didn't look out of place last year. No. He did not at all. And then the right tackle, right? You got Tyler Kanak or Teddy Prohaska, or Teddy and Tyler. I think that's the two that really got to get off the bus with a different type of mentality. Because I think just assuming everything else stays the same, and these are 4 solid guys from the right guard on over. Right tackle, if they could get that plus out of there, that's when you really are able to do some things offensively and across the offensive line.
The fact they have the interior settled is probably for the best against Cincinnati and Dante Corleone. That's a big dude.
Yeah.
That's a game record. That is a heck of a player. But long term, I think there's a reason tackles are getting paid more than interior guys. They're going up against the best of the best on the outside. They're going to see a dude every week in the Big Ten, I'm sure from Cincinnati as well. Not probably the most comfortable spot for Nebraska to be, not having those tackle positions settled. They got 2 days to make a decision. Maybe it's a game time decision all the way up to Thursday. I would doubt it. But left tackle, you feel like it's the, I don't want to say safe option, but right, the guy in Gunnar Gatula from his fill-in last year. You have an X factor in Turner Corcoran, and you would think maybe the highest ceiling in Elijah Pritchett, but Matt Rule talked in one of his press conferences, he said something to the effect of, well, when you talk about Williams-Nwaneri, you talk about Elijah Pritchett, assuming that they have the most talent does a disservice to the guys in the room. But for Pritchett, Jay, it was about dependability, reliability, consistency. Matt Rule said there were still a bunch of procedural stuffs going on, right? False starting, not always getting the right protection calls and sliding or moving the right way. That's stuff that you can't afford to have happen. That's what's held Nebraska back more than anything, is those self-inflicted mistakes. So even if Elijah Pritchett maybe does, look the best of that group in terms of getting off the bus, if he's still false starting, if he still doesn't know which way to slide, that's a problem, and Nebraska can't afford to have that out there.
Yeah, it's something that you just got to continue to work on. Obviously, Matt Rule wants to really cut down on the penalties because obviously he knows what was kind of a thorn in the side of Nebraska for years that preceded him. And so, I think one of those things that it's got to be a group effort, across the offensive line. And obviously Elijah's got to really get a hold of it. And then obviously then just play, that'll allow him to be the player that they hope that he would be when he comes and look at it as a challenge. There's always going to be challenges when you play, the game of football. And there's good players here. So people always think you go to the portal to solve the world's problems. You go to the portal to add to your team, then obviously get some, potentially some quick fixes. But that doesn't mean you don't have good players here. And, I think your comment about the inside part of it, of the line that's solidified, when you look at Cincinnati's defense, redshirt senior at the starting position. So they go on 315, 335, 275. Old dudes. They seen everything. So that's it. They play a 3-man front. So they have they play a 3-4. Now a little bit light in the tail as far as like the outside guys, and they have kind of it's actually like a 3-2-6 kind of defense, right? Because they have a position that's called the star position. So okay,
and that's been a linebacker in a lot of cases.
But he's like 5'10", 195.
Oh man, that's small.
Right? And Antoine Peak Jr. is 6'1", 214. So okay, that's kind of like a hybrid. All right, there's Sam linebacker, 6'4", 240. Mike linebacker, which you got to take advantage of, 6'4", 240. Okay, Emmett Johnson's got to get big. Dead leg is on the horizon. Okay, and then their will. They have two guys. One's 5'11", 225. Other is 6'2", 230. Okay, so it's kind of a 3-3-5. I'll give them that, right? So this is the same type of defense you see every day. So now you know as far as personnel wise and guys that when you're trying to match up, but the interior guys got to have a good day, and they're trying to stop things up the middle with 240, 240, 315, 335, 270. That's just straight up, and then think of one of the other outside backers being able to, set the edge. They're trying to stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just by size alone. I mean, they're trying to stop the run. So it's good on good. We'll see where we're at. But the depth chart as far as Nebraska goes, when you look at the wide receiver room, there's a lot of young guys there. So I think it's a commitment to their recruiting and developing their recruiting, but then also the guys that are the big name guys, Dane Key and all those guys, Hunter, they got to get off to a good start, and they got to have a good year this year.
Dane Holgerson said as much today. We know he thinks what Nebraska is going to get out of those top four guys. He said Key, Hunter, Barney, and Bonner, but he's excited to see what the young guys can bring as well.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, but then it's an opportunity for guys to really set forth the path of this team and potentially do some great things. But in order to do that, you got to, start off the season right against Cincinnati, who's going to be a tougher opponent than people give them credit for. They have nothing to lose.
Not a dang thing but the game.
And they've been preparing all year.
Mm-hmm.
And your coach is on the hot seat.
Woo.
And so we'll get into more. If I'm thinking about what players I need to eliminate, there's two that I think you need to do, and it's not the guys that you think of. We'll talk about that later in the week. We might get a little whiteboard Wednesday on Wednesday. See where we go from there. I'll talk about the things to look for from Cincinnati, or in my opinion. But we're going to take a quick break, put a bow on this bad boy. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Limitless Male says it's all fun and games until your testosterone plummets. Testosterone levels can start falling as early as age 30 with symptoms like no energy, poor sleep, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, and mood swings. If this sounds familiar, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel this good, you'll wonder why you waited so long to get a free consult at Limitless Male. Get scheduled today.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see partly sunny skies with light winds and cool temps. An afternoon high around 74. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and calm winds, a low around 55. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and an afternoon high near 77. I'm meteorologist Kyle for 3.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through August 31st, enjoy USDA Choice whole boneless ribeye loin for $14.99 per pound. All natural boneless chicken breast for $2.99 per pound. All natural whole bone-in pork butt, $1.69 per pound. And buy 5, get 5 free on brat patties. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road.
The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. With the school year here, A1 Automotive reminds you that college students get 10% off any service, and they offer free tire repair with a valid college ID. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive or downtown at 11th and L.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. Quick segment until we turn to Ticket weeknights, right? You guys.
Me and Tom Chattel. Mondays at 6 again. We're back.
Again, the party getting started. You know, we would never be able to have a week without another Scott Frost quote.
Oh, no, I missed this one. Oh, boy.
He said something like his job is different because he ain't got people telling him what to do, who to play.
No, he did not.
I can't.
No, he did not.
He said something, man. I was like, I can't even be mad at him, man. At this point, my man just must have been miserable. He just been like, damn. Who else is coming in my
Give me back to sunny Orlando yesterday.
I ain't mad. You got to do. I get it, man.
Oh my gosh.
You wish him the best, though. Go be successful.
This job is different. I didn't have anybody telling me who to play.
It was something like that.
Isn't that your assistant coach's job?
I don't know, man. It was something. I just laughed. Now I just get tickled to death. My man throwing. Hey,
what's he gonna make? What's he gonna bring up about Nebraska during his game against North Carolina? Because there's gonna be something.
I don't know. You know what? To be honest with you, you just wish him the best, man. It just didn't work out, man. It sucks.
It does.
It seemed like a match made in heaven and end up in hell. And he's he has fault. Nebraska has, I guess, fault. I don't know whether it's the support or the whatever that didn't work out. It's not and it just sucks that it didn't work out. But it is funny though. Did you pull the quote?
I did not pull the quote.
No.
Let's see.
I thought that's why you gave to say a sigh of relief.
No, that's a disappointed sigh that we still have to talk about this.
He will forever be connected to Nebraska.
Whether we like it or not, whether he likes it or not.
That's all right. And look, the connection, is real. He's from Nebraska, legendary family. You just wish him all the best.
Was it in today's press conference?
I think, or maybe the last one, because it doesn't really matter either way. That's pretty much what he said.
I'll have to see. If I can find that.
Ask Tom Chattel. He knows.
I probably will have to. How about that?
Stay tuned. Listen to what Tom Chattel has to say about it. We are out of here. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. We'll holler at you tomorrow.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through August 31st, enjoy USDA Choice Whole Boneless Ribeye Loin for $14.99 per pound. All natural boneless chicken breast for $2.99 per pound. All natural whole bone-in pork butt, $1.69 per pound. And buy 5, get 5 free on brat patties. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. With the school year here, A1 Automotive reminds you that college students get 10% off any service, and they offer free tire repair with a valid college ID. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new